What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute your tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel reserved for the best. What's good, everybody? This is the Sixth Element of Hip Hop. I am your host, Reno Noir. This is my co-host, hiding behind his camera, Stu Dog. He about to pop out here in a minute. We got a special guest in the building today, SHADOWPANDA, crazy YouTuber doing dope reactions, all kinds of madness. We got to break down Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness as well. But we're gonna talk to SHADOWPANDA first, man, and see what's good with him. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing? Stu, where you at, baby?
Camera shot.
All right, we're just having some technical difficulties here.
Why are you doing that?
You know,
all right.
Well, let me introduce Panda because you did it good, but you know,
but you can
let me do it because I can do it better. You know what I'm saying? Not this saying you didn't do it good, but I'm just saying. We're saying we're gonna do it better, right? That's all, man. It's not saying that it's not a good introduction that you did, but mine's is just better. That's all. That's all it is. That's all. We got Panda on the show today, and we're going. You know, he's gonna chop it up with his Panda chop. You know what I mean? And then he's gonna chop it up what it's about. You know, he's gonna Panda chop Doctor Strange up with us. So we're not gonna talk about Doctor Strange. We're gonna Panda chop Doctor Strange. Panda chop. Oh, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're going to get it popping today. So let's get it popping. Panda, what's going on? SHADOWPANDA in the house. You know what I'm saying? One of a kind. You know what I mean? The man with the plan.
That, bro.
You know what I mean? The man with the plan, with the long hand, doing it from here to the Rio Grande Sands. Listen, one thing, Panda Chop, man, I got to say, I watched your videos and I love them, man, because a lot of guys do what you're doing, but, you know, they lack, they do it good, but you do it better, and the difference is showmanship. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the whole difference. That's
energy.
right. You like that. You like the way I Panda chop that up. I know you do.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's okay. So all right, because I mean that. That's why I did it like that, because I meant it. You know what I mean? But yeah, we go hard here on 6-7. So I mean, I've watched a lot of guys do reactions. You do reactions. I watch a lot of guys just premiere stuff. I seen you do that. But like I said, the difference with you and them is showmanship. They do it good, you do it better, and that's the difference.
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of guys doing reactions to music, like a lot of young guys, a lot of Gen Zers doing reactions to like 90s hip hop hits. And it's dope because you get to see them be like, yo, this is crazy. And like, and when they really giving it props and you can really tell that they feeling it, it's a very good show. But what I've noticed different about one of the many things different about yours is you do a lot of rock songs too. And like we don't get a lot of hip hop heads breaking down rock songs. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, we should have more of that. And I like what you're doing with that. When did you start doing the rock song reactions? Did you start it with rock songs or you just started reacting to hip hop? How did it get going?
Nah, man, I started out just doing like hip hop. You know, like when they say that when you start a YouTube channel, it's like it's not gonna look the way you thought it was gonna look, right? So like I grew up on that 90s, that early 2000s hip hop, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna start doing reactions. I'm gonna do the shit that I like, you know, the type of rap that I like. But like it wasn't really connecting with people like that. And so then I was always thinking, like, man, I want to actually react to the music that of this generation though, too, as well, you know, because like for the longest time, for like 10 years, I stopped listening to like the new hip hop, except for like the Kendricks and the Coles, like the ones that resemble more of that lyricism that we grew up on, right? And so then like I decided to try to give that a chance, but then I realized that people wanted to see something else. They wanted to see me react to other genres. So at the beginning of this year, I started doing other genres of music, you know, mainly metal and rock, and like that's what people wanted to see. They wanted to see somebody from a different culture, somebody from outside of their music scene react to that. You know, so like when you see a hip hop head breaking it down, and even like the terminology that we use, like for me to say like this motherfucker is lit right now, they going crazy. They talking about this bitch is on another level, and like just like even the explanation for it, you know, they like that. They really are attracted to that, you know?
Right. Absolutely, man. And I love that shirt you got on. That's hip hop and comics right there, baby. I love that. Illmatic, one of the greatest albums. And in the comic book, like, is there a comic that's from, or is that just...
like I'll send you the link later, bro. There's somebody on Etsy. He's an artist and he does like all these hip hop like t-shirts that's in like comic book form.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So then like I thought about it today. I was like, I gotta wear that shirt for my boy Reno, you know what I mean? At the same time, I had to wear my Iron Man hat too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Put on for the comics.
I love it.
Talking about.
Hell yeah. You into comics at all?
Yeah, you know, I grew up watching a lot of like superhero stuff, mainly like the 90s TV shows and stuff like that, you know, collecting some of the cards, but not as much as the actual reading of the comics, you know, like you guys. So that's why, like, when I watch you guys and the way that you guys have like that portfolio in your head to reference like what the show is like pulling the material from, man, it's like the same way that when I'm panda chopping the bars, I'm just like, damn, like you guys panda chopping the comics now. You know what I mean?
Right. I like it. We got Cooks in the building. If Cooks might pop in here, man, and we might get a nice you know what I'm saying, a little special Cooks rapid fire session. That would be dope. Cooks, if you would hop on, that'd be cool. But either way, man, it's gonna be a great show. We got a lot to unpack. Doctor Strange is a crazy movie with a whole lot to unpack. So that's gonna be a big deal right now. But back to the Panda Chops, man. When did you come up with that? Was it just something you just randomly did and then you just started doing it again, or what? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I started doing reactions like in May of 2020 when things really, the world was coming to an end. Basically, everybody was trapped in their house, you know, everybody losing their job. I'm not going to say the key words because you know how YouTube gets and starts flagging stuff. But basically, I started doing reactions and I was thinking to myself, what is the best way to set myself apart, right? And I noticed that there wasn't a lot of Asian reactors on YouTube too, doing it on this level. So I was like, I want to pick something that really sets myself apart. And so I was always talking about like karate chopping and, you know, martial arts and things like that. And then I just realized like Panda Chop just came out of the blue one day. And I was talking about Panda Chopping the bars and it just kind of stuck with that, you know?
Right. What brand of Asian are you? Because, you know, I don't want nobody to assume.
I'm half Vietnamese and half Chinese.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the Panda, man, that's a great idea, man. It's you really got a great idea. It's a great show. A lot of fire energy, y'all. If y'all watching this, definitely go subscribe to Shadow the Panda. It's a lot of amazing content, man. I really love it. The energy is crazy. You know what I mean? The way you break down the lyrics, everything you're doing is right on point, man. I think you're gonna blow up, and you're doing great. I mean, what, you're already over 5,000 right now, right?
Yeah.
Subs, very good, very dope. I love it. So, when did you start doing this? When did you start your channel?
So I created the channel about like 3 years ago, but I never had time to like really put into it. You know, I was working 2 jobs, putting in 80 hours a week and stuff, you know, but it was always my dream to really be able to do it. And so then when the whole 2020 thing happened and, you know, everybody was losing their jobs and just being stuck in the house, I was like, man, I got to find something to do because I'm going crazy. I was just so used to being busy and working, you know, that I just couldn't sit still. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I thought, man, I got to go ahead and just do my dream, you know? So I started doing the reactions on a regular basis. And 2 years later, over 400 videos later, man, this is where we are.
Man, that's amazing, man. It's kind of how we started. We started about the same time, right, Stu? Like 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, during the pandemic.
Yeah, I think a lot of channels started during the pandemic. A lot of stuff. People was at home and didn't have nothing else to do, man, and you ain't got shit else to do. What you gonna do?
Well, you know what it is, Reno? We had the time to do it.
That's right.
He did. I mean, you know, man, Shadow said it best, man. Nobody had the time to do anything before. We were working and, you know, I got to get to work, you know, and then you go to your other job if you had one, or your other job, or your other job. So then when the pandemic hit, it was like, oh, stop the press. You either got no job or you barely working one job. So we had time to do some stuff, man, and we did it. Take my hat off to everybody that did.
Yeah, man. You know, when you just like struggling to survive, that's all you focused on, bro. You know, just like trying to make ends meet, trying to get it, and then like you don't really have the time always to really think about what is it that I really want to do with my life. Like, what is it that I would like to do instead of clocking in for somebody else every single day? You know.
That's
is that how you felt, Panda? Like, did you feel that like before the pandemic and before you were doing what you did? You feel that way? Did you feel like like damn, like what else can I do, or were you happy with the way your life was?
No, I wasn't happy at all, man. Like, I mean, that's I think that's what happened with a lot of people is that like once the pandemic hit, it was just more like,
wake up.
Now I'm dealing with all this shit now. Now I'm forced to face all this shit that I wasn't facing before when I was working so much and not thinking about like my trauma, not thinking about the things that I'm not thinking about because I'm keeping myself busy. Right now I'm forced to face those things. And now a lot of people were forced to like really think about what they wanted to do with their life, and myself included. And so like it was really difficult in the beginning, but then eventually I was just like, man, like for the longest time I put my dreams on hold. And when you're not living in your truth, when you're not listening to that voice inside of you, it starts to catch up with you, right? You live like unhappy and do all types of stuff that's not good for you. So I just realized that, man, especially like, when you're working for somebody else, they have control over like you, like how much you make, when you're going to get a raise, when you're going to be able to, move up in the company or whatever, or if the company's doing bad, they going to cut you off. And a lot of people, they lost their jobs, right? So a lot of people during the pandemic, they started to realize like, I got to be self-sufficient in some kind of way. So I don't know, maybe like finding ways to make money even when you're working from home, right? And so I think a lot of people started their YouTube channel because of that reason. It's like, we ain't got to go anywhere. We can make money from our living room, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, a lot of people realize that. Cooks beat me to it. My next question. He said, what was your inner city life like growing up on hip hop you listened to in your city? I was gonna say you from Cali or the West Coast?
Yeah, man.
Where did you
I grew up in
East Coast hip hop?
I grew up in Long Beach for the first 10 years of my life, so like it was, and my brother's 6 years older than me. So like he really brought home all the hip hop, like that I shouldn't have been listening to at that early age, but like I was like at that early age, and it really influenced me. And especially living in Long Beach in the inner cities, it's like all my friends were Black. Like everything you watched on TV was like, there wasn't a lot of Asian people for representation at that time, so you connected with like other minorities, so it's like, I remember like the first music video I ever saw was the I Got 5 on it video, right? So
I remember
that. Like
joint.
my brother's bringing home cassettes and everything, and I'm listening to it, and like it's just like really connected in that way.
That's dope. When did you get into East Coast hip hop, or was it the same? Like, did you start with West Coast and then go get into
I started with West Coast, and I think at that time, when you're really young too, you fall victim to the whole East Coast versus West Coast thing. It's all plastered all over the magazines and everything. And I was such a big Pac fan that at the time I was like, oh, hell no, I ain't fucking with that side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking with the West Coast only and everything. And then like, I think, I was, I was only like 8 years old when he passed. So, after he had passed, it was like, that's when I started to really get into Nas, get into a lot of East Coast rappers at that time, man.
Got you. Yeah, we were the same way over here on the East Coast. I mean, we got caught up in that same, bullshit that the media,
the propaganda, bro.
Yeah, they perpetuated the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like we had Biggie, y'all had Pac, but I was still a Pac fan. Like we were Pac fans over here. We fucked with Snoop.
We all of that. Right. We listened to everybody. Right. We listened to everybody. We didn't, like me, for instance. I was in the military, and a lot of my boys were from Detroit, Chicago. You know what I mean? So like they introduced me to like, some of Pac stuff. And then when he got out of jail, man, and he dropped that double LP. We was all over that, bro.
Oh yeah.
Listen. I can put it to you like this:
double cassette. Remember,
it would have never sold. What did he say? What did he sold like 6 million copies of that? Because he said he told Suge if Snoop could sell 4, I could do 6. So I mean, he didn't sell 6 million copies on the East Coast alone. It wasn't. I mean, on the West Coast alone. That was nationwide. You know what I mean? And people forget that. People forget that he sold that many albums nationwide. That wasn't just on the West Coast. So we had love for him out here, man. And he's from the East Coast. So, you know, it's just, you know, the media divided us. We let them. And we
Vibe
lost
magazine.
The Source, Vibe, all of them, man. Yeah. They divided us. We let them, and we paid for it, man. We lost an icon because of it.
2 of them.
You know?
Two
of them, yeah. We lost 2 big icons.
Back to back. And we lost a lot of people during that time too. Just like it seemed like it was back to back. You know what I'm saying? Easy E, Big L, like Big Pun, like Freaky Ty, like it just goes on and on. Wepa, what's good? Comic Crusaders.
What's good? Comic Crusaders, what's up?
Word. And so as a content creator, and as advice to other content creators, new content, Cook said, creating your channel, did you ever have setbacks or times where you were like, the fuck is going on? What am I even doing? And then what was your solution to overcome that?
All the time, man. Still, you know, it's like, you know, the reaction game, bro, or just YouTube in general, right? It's a lot like the rap game. It's a lot of, there's some good ones. There's a lot of fucked up ones too, a lot of bad ones, right? You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of times you get into this whole comparison thing. Like, I don't understand why they doing so good. They ain't even half as talented as I am, or like even the production as far as like lighting, video quality, audio quality, all this stuff. So you get stuck up in that whole comparison thing sometimes, you know, like, and it's kind of hard, especially when you have people on the internet that feel they can say anything to you, right? They feel like they can just like rip your life to shreds, say anything about you. And it gets hard sometimes, especially some days are easier than others, right? But then some days you might have that bad day. Somebody might catch you at the wrong time and they'll say something and like you let it get to you. You feed into it, you know? So like there have been times where I was just like, man, I don't know why I'm even doing this. Like I don't feel like I'm really progressing at the speed that I feel I should be progressing at. And honestly, it's like the only way to get through it is just to keep going, man. You know, it's kind of corny or generic, but it's like you're going to look back and regret it if you don't keep going. I remember when I had 100 subscribers. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't even get 100 views. Right. And there were times when I wanted to quit then, but if you look now, it's like I'm not even that big yet. I got like 5,000 subscribers, a little over that. But I get thousands of views sometimes, and it's like I would have only dreamt of getting to this point during that time, right? Right. And I've only able to get to this point now because I didn't stop, because I was able to persevere and keep on going despite all the challenges. It's really a mental game more than anything.
Tell me about that.
It's just more of like, man, like you gotta believe in yourself so much, especially when you in a field that is so oversaturated, that is so difficult to make it in, right? There's so many people competing with you, right? And it's so hard to make it. And people, even the people that you love, the ones that you know, they might not fuck with you, they might not support you, they may not go view your stuff, right? And you just like, damn, like, how you not gonna support me? I thought we was cool or something, you know, like it becomes a mental game in that way. It's like, damn, like not even the people I know fuck with me. So like, how do I expect other people to fuck with me? You know, like it becomes things like that. Or just like in general, it's like, how am I ever going to be able to compete with these giants? Right. And you just got to take it day by day to be like, am I better than I was yesterday? Because your only competition is really yourself, right? That's the only way that you're going to be able to keep going every single day. It's like, damn, celebrating those small wins, you know, like, damn, I got 10 subscribers more than I did yesterday, right? It's not a lot, but it adds up over time. It's going to keep on happening for me if I keep on going, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, you're doing great, bro. Like you're more than like 3 times as many subs as we've got, and we've been pretty much doing this the same time. But consistency is the key. I mean, we've changed up our format I don't know how many times. You know what I mean? Like we started doing one thing, and then I tried some other stuff, and then I was doing some other stuff, and then we're back to doing this. And you know, YouTube algorithm just doesn't know what to do with all of that. So you've got to, like, I see big YouTubers making 2 and 3 channels, and I was like, why are they making 2 or 3 channels? They're already huge. But then it's because they want to do something different, and they they make a new channel for that. You know what I mean? You don't want to do a bunch of different kinds of videos and stuff on one channel, because you know the algorithm can't you know, it doesn't know how to push it out right. And one of my biggest mentors in this game is Al Mega from Comic Crusaders. He really put me on to how to really do this, and he said, for me, just work, get it out there, use your avenues and family, and you'll go far. Don't ever ask permission. Like Nike says, just do it. He said, I don't compete with anyone. Just put my stuff out there and let it roll. And that's what it's all about. Man. Yeah. Consistency and you know, doing the same kind of video. Because we started doing this show the way we're doing it now not that long ago. You know, maybe only several months ago, doing it just like this, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, consistently, just like that, 3 times a week. Shout out Slade Wilson in the building. We have a dope channel with a cult following. I appreciate that. Consistency, realness, and honesty is exactly what it's all about. And shout out to Cooks24. Hopefully he'll be on a little bit later, but he's starting his channel, and you know, it's like you said, man, it's a mental game. It's a mental game, and we just got to keep focused.
Yeah, man, that algorithm is tough, bro. It's tough.
Yeah.
I actually don't like that word a lot, man. it's a pain in the ass, bro. It is, man. But you're right though, you know, because it's like the reason why they create different channels is because, you know, the people that subscribe to your channel are expecting a certain type of content. They want to see the same thing from you all the time, right? And it's like when you start putting out some other stuff, they may not watch it as much, and then when you get a video with lower views, that fucks up your algorithm, man. You know.
Yeah. That's another thing, like different amounts of views and all of that. But yeah, it's all about just figuring out your niche and you know, your groove, and just you know, roll with that like that. But yeah, Google algorithm changes. Put positive, good content out there, and you got this. But yeah, man, it, like, I noticed you were doing. Did you because like you did some skits where you were like, you know, playing 2 different characters talking to each other. Was that something is that something you do on your YouTube channel? Was that an Instagram thing? Do you have a different kind of show for that?
I put it on both. I put it on Instagram, and I put it on my YouTube channel. You know, I try to switch it up a little bit just to see like what else like catches, you know. But it gets a little boring sometimes just doing reactions, you know, like you want to kind of do different content and kind of like just show your personality out there.
Absolutely.
Well, now you guys get to see. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Reno. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Al said the San Diego Comic-Con press badge registration for Comic-Con 2022 is now open, and that's big for a channel like ours, especially, Stu, because you know, getting to go to Comic-Con with a press badge, especially San Diego, we'd be, you know, talking to all the celebrities, all the MCU actors, all the comic writers, artists, and all of that, and all you need is that press badge. And but yeah, for a YouTuber to get that press badge, I mean, we got to fill out an application, apply for it, but pretty much it's not hard, but you got to have the engagement. You know, they're going to look at your channel, they're going to see your social media presence and see what you're about. And yeah, man, if they get, we need to apply for that, Stu, for real. And then me and you shoot over to San Diego, that would be ill. Slade says,
hey, man, you guys can link up with me, man, because that's where I'm at.
Oh, absolutely. That's what's up.
Yeah, man, we can meet up.
Definitely.
Go kick it.
Oh, definitely.
I used to work at the hotel that is right next to the actual convention center. So like the convention center is so packed, right? They don't even have any more room for any actual events. So they start going into the hotel right next door, the Marriott Marquis, and they start using all of their meeting rooms too.
That's
that shit is expensive, bro.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
crazy.
I know it is. Oh, I know it
People
is.
spending $6,000 on a couple of days just for the room. Just for the room, man. And like, it's like, it's only supposed to be a couple of people in there, but they have all these people coming in and sleeping on the floor so they can split the money.
So they can
it's
pay for the room,
too. People sleeping, you know, in the public areas.
Damn.
Got you, man. You gotta do what you gotta do.
You
gotta do what you gotta do to get in it, to get in there, man. I mean, you gotta think about the media. When the media comes, they don't, you know, nobody thinks about the smaller channels like us, and that's the way of the world today. So, like, when you turn on the TV, think about it. When we were kids and we turned on, it was always something to watch. But when you turn it on now, it's nothing. It's a bunch of infomercials. It's a bunch of shows nobody wants to see. Unless you creating content and putting it out like YouTube, Netflix, HBO Max, something like that. When you creating specific content that people specifically want to watch, that's the only way you can survive now. Because when you look at MTV, MTV used to show music videos all day long, and it was a success because we never had the world never seen nothing like that. Now it's all reality shows. You can't, you can listen. You can't find it. You might be able to. You can't find a music video on there. It's like walking through the desert trying to find water. Can't find a music video on there now.
Right. You gotta have MTV2 and like other channels too. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Just to get it off. Yeah. Right. But as far as the YouTube algorithm, you guys got to understand.
So Al, man, you gotta bring me in Stu as your cameraman and your assistant. Get us in there. You know what I mean?
Get us in there. Yeah. You guys gotta understand what YouTube is. You gotta understand YouTube is a new platform. It hasn't been out that long, and the algorithm is based on what's trending. So it's like if it's basically right now they'll rewrite the algorithm to compete with TikTok. So when you look at TikTok, all you see is people putting short, choppy videos of them, you know, acting silly, disappearing, and reappearing with a broom in their hand, they sweeping the floor, stuff like that. So in order for them to, you know, survive, that's what they do. So like you said, you putting out content based on the things you like to do. Like we're a hardcore comics and hip hop channel. That's what we do. So we're for the hardcore people. We're not for the casual fan. They're invited, and we love them. We want them here, but. A casual fan will come on and be like, man, I'm trying to catch up with these guys, see what they talking about. But a hardcore fan like you, Shadow, you'll get on and be like, yo, I'm feeling these. I know exactly what they talking about. Like, you know, there is no channel like ours on YouTube. That's why the algorithm can't get with it, because if there is, it ain't a lot of them. So the algorithm just pushes us down and pushes the casual stuff up. And that's the same thing with you. If you find a way to shine in that, you know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing but take my hat off to you, man, and tell you salute, man, because you're right. It is hard, man. It's hard to do it. It's hard to keep up with it, but keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the hits. Like Omega always tell us, don't worry about that. Just do what you do and keep it moving.
You know and Renshi, is Renshi someone that you brought? Shadow?
Who?
This person, Renshi.
Oh, Renshi.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Okay, no, because I welcome to the show, Renshi. Just a new.
And Renshi is right. Renshi's right. Yeah, the TikTok algorithm is easy to exploit. It really is. It's not like YouTube. It's not like YouTube at all. You know what I mean? So Shadow, man, listen, when it comes to hip hop, man. Now you told us your story about, you know, how you listen to hip hop and all that. What about grunge, man? Because you're on the West Coast. You know what I mean? What's your 3 favorite grunge bands of all time?
The Seattle scene.
Oh, man. You know, I didn't really listen to grunge like that, bro. That's from Seattle, man. You know, I didn't really listen to grunge like that. I started to react to some bands this year, though. You know, you got the Nirvana, right? You got
Alice in Chains.
Well, Alice in Chains. That's one of my favorites. And Soundgarden.
There you go.
Soundgarden's real. Yeah.
Hey, you guys see that that joint on Hulu, The Dark Side of the 90s?
Yes, I saw that.
That's fire. How he was going over like different topics every single episode, and grunge was one of them.
Yeah, and they talk about how they talk about from where it started to where it is, and then they take you to now. Like when I I would have to say I agree. If you would have talked to me about that, say the three of us just chopping it up, I would have kind of been perplexed. Like, man, I don't know. I can't really see it. But the way they visualized it for you and then broke it down, I'm like, yeah, I can see that's why we at where we at now. Like with music, like with all genres, because grunge was so slow and so methodical. A lot of people that were hard rockers that were older kept saying, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. And here on the East Coast, you had jokers that wouldn't want to play it because they said it was too slow. But you couldn't say it wasn't good. And that was their thing. So they kind of killed it, man. Like when Creed came out, they were like, oh, they can't go hard. And so then they would always, if you notice on Creed's first 3 albums, they put the first 2 songs were hardcore rock tracks. And then they grunged it up after that. Yeah, they slowed it down. Right. They slowed it down after that. Notice that on all 3 of their albums, the first 2 tracks on every album is a hardcore rock song. They did that on purpose. So yeah, man, I checked out the series and I thought it was dope, man. We need more stuff like that to try to, show us where we came from to where we are now, so we can remember where we're going. You know what I mean? So now, what about hip hop wise? What do you listen to new? Like as far as newer artists, what do you listen to?
Cole and Kendrick aside, we know.
Right, Cole and Kendrick aside.
Yeah, Cole and Kendrick, because everybody listens to Cole and Kendrick.
Right. I started actually reacting to Juice not too long ago. And,
Juice WRLD?
Yeah, Juice WRLD. I started reacting to him not too long ago. And I really like reacting to his stuff because it's like if you analyze it beyond just like the self-medicating, there's a lot of psychological stuff there, a lot of reasons to break down like what causes somebody to inflict self-harm and all that stuff on that kind of level. Because I got a background in psychology, so I love all of that psychological stuff, that kind of analyst. That's why I like to break things down on a really deep level. So I really fuck with his music. Newer artists.
Yeah, Juice WRLD is nice. I listened to the whole album.
Let me help you out a little bit. What about the Griselda crew?
Yeah. I fuck with Griselda, but that's what kind of makes me mad, man. It's that like the really talented artists, they don't always get the respect that they deserve, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Especially nowadays. Talent.
Yeah, it's like I reacted to Conway, right? And like I'm thinking like, man, this should get a lot of views, he's so talented, but he didn't really get any views. And I was like, damn, that's a shame. Because he deserves it.
It is. He deserves it. Yeah, Conway do,
yeah. People say like hip hop. No, go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead.
No, people say that hip hop is like it's dead, like all the shit now is trash, but the real hip hop is still here. It's still out there. It's still being created.
You just gotta find it. Yeah, you still gotta find it. Yeah, you just gotta find it. Yeah, you gotta dig.
Yeah, it's not being pushed by the labels and social media. You know what I'm saying?
I think that they need to do a better job of like classifying, because a lot of the trap that should be considered more of a subgenre instead of you saying that's hip hop.
Instead of thank you. I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what people get it twisted about.
And calling it hip hop, period, it's really pop music.
Or saying what you guys like is lyrical rap. Like lyrical rap?
Yeah, what you mean? Like the word lyrics, like, come on, it's just that goes hand in hand. Like,
right, you gotta be lyrical, and you gotta be lyrical in order to rap. That's what we always thought. Like, we always was like, wait a minute, gotta have lyrics.
Like, it used to be such a badge of honor for you to be a wordsmith, right? It's like, man, he nice with the bars. Like, that's the whole thing that you're doing it for. That's why a lot of MCs even was like rapping in the first place. I'm on my corner. I'm trying to get people to go, ooh, to give you that nasty face when you hear that bar to make you go, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, but now it's like, no, we just want to hear, I guess, more something melodic.
Yeah.
Right? Something that's easy to sing along with. And I understand, but it's more of like different time and place for everything, bro.
Yeah. And you said it right. It's something to sing along with. And that's what I mean by pop music. Like in the 80s, 90s, pop music, it's always based on whatever's like the real hot shit. Like in the 80s, it was rock music. So you had the pop music sounded like rock music. In the 90s, it was, you know, alternative and grunge. So the pop music sounded alternative-y. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that hip hop is far surpassed any kind of rock or any other kind of music. It's
number one genre.
Number one genre worldwide. So now the pop music sounds like hip hop. And that's because, you know, pop music is made by people that, you know, they feel it and they want to participate. You know what I mean? And it's like we have a lot of fans now that get to put their stuff out because of the internet, because of social media.
Right.
Before the internet, before social media, it was hard to get heard. You had to, you know, shop your demo and your portrait and go out and, you know, get labels to hear you and A&Rs and, you know, get your shit played on the radio. Like it was a real struggle to get on, and cats that got on really put in a tremendous amount of work. And now anyone with a phone can make a beat, record it, throw some auto-tune on it, and they're gonna get millions of views. And that's why it's whack now, because the fans are making music without having to pass through those those chambers.
The Simon, you know what? I got you. You know, the Simon Cowell. They don't have to pass through a Simon Cowell. And Simon Cowell, for whatever you might have to say about him, I'll tell you one thing: he no talent. Like, but he's not going to give anybody and everybody a break. Like, he might sit there and listen to it, but if he don't like it, he going to tell you. He's going to be like, nah, I didn't think it just didn't hit me. It didn't move me. You know, but if it do, he'll be like, yeah, you got that. You got my vote. And I think nowadays people just don't want to tell people they're wrong or they failed or it's just not what you should be doing. They try to be so nice all the time. Like, oh yeah, you know, you sounded all right, or you be.
What's up, Amy? No,
you know what? Because I've heard some stuff, Shadow, where I've been like, you know, well, I'm not gonna lie, I heard some stuff where I'd be like, that ain't hitting, you know. But then like one of my boys, like serious, and one of my boys would be like, yo, that was dope. And I'll be like, no, man, it was not dope. There's nothing dope about that. They'd be like, yeah, man, you ain't like it? I'll be like, no, I didn't like it. They'd be like, oh, you crazy. They'd be like 3 or 4 of them. They'd be like, how you don't like that? I'm like, I just didn't like it. It didn't. I'm Simon Cowell right now. It didn't move me. Or it'd be the opposite. Or it'd be something I hear, we all hear, and I'd be like, oh, I think that was fly. They'd be like, it was all right. It wasn't really hard. So, you know, I know you've been through that. I know you've been through it.
You know, my stance on it, bro, is that like with social media, it's so much easier to brainwash people into telling them what they should like. A lot of people don't know what they do like. They want to be told what to like. And that's why it's easier to feed them the watered down shit. You know, like, oh, like this is the wave. You should get on the wave. And don't nobody want FOMO. They don't want to be fearing of missing out, right? They don't want to be like looked as like, I'm weird because I don't like this.
Right.
You know, like I'm different. People don't really stand in their individuality like that. So it's more of like, oh, I'm going to be following in line. I'm going to be a sheep in the herd to really just like whatever someone is pushing. Right. And that's why these record companies get away with a lot of it too, though, because now it's a lot easier, like you said, to make it in the game, because it's like, okay, you got apps where you don't even really make the beat. The app makes the beat for you, right? You don't even have to know anything about musicianship to even really make the beat. DJs that don't even really know how to DJ or scratch at all. Now you got the app to help you do it, right? Yep. Everybody can buy $100 microphone or whatever, record it, and it sounds decent, whatever, right? They get put on SoundCloud. Next thing you know, if they start getting a big enough buzz, they can get funneled with some money and they re-record it to sound more professional, and it's pushed out there. But a lot of times, you know, back in the day, at least you had A&Rs to really invest money into actually developing the artist, right? Nowadays, it's not like that anymore. It's about how much have you done on your own? Have you recorded a video on your own? Right? Have you done this? How many fans have you been able to garner on your own? Now we see it as more of a safe bet. We're going to put money into it.
Yep. And that's what I mean. Anybody can just make their music. Anybody can get on. Like you had to, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you had to impress the hood First, you had to have a following in the hood. You had to have respect,
street recognition. Yeah, they had some street cred.
Yeah, and then you could shop your demo out to try and find A&Rs or whatever. Get it, like I said, it was just a big process. There was a lot to it, and now there is none of that. There's none of those.
There's no middle. There's no Simon Cowell.
No gauntlets.
No Simon Cowell's out there.
Yeah,
because when you think about it, all of us here were born before the 60s. I mean, after the 60s. When you watch those older movies like about the Temptations or I don't know, or the Spinners or something like that, notice like the Temptation movie, notice they were a group. Like I watched the movie. Yeah. Remember how they were singing? Yeah, they were singing and they had hood credit. If you think about it, they had hood credit. Yeah. People knew who they was, they could sing. And then when people saw them, it was like, yo, y'all can sing. Like, and then they hooked, they stayed in the industry. They had to start from the very, very bottom. They was in high school singing together. And they sounded good. Kicking people out the group, putting people in, making it sound, just tweaking their sound. Yeah. Tweaking. Because everybody can't sing. And some people they might sound good, but you're like, but you don't sound good with us.
Or you don't
know what I mean? So you don't fit our right. Like, perfect example, I got a anthology of Jimi Hendrix. A lot of people didn't know that he played with the Isley Brothers. He was their guitarist. Ron Isley said that him and his brother had to kick him out of the group because Jimi Hendrix was so good, he didn't fit with them. Like they would do these solos. Yeah. Right. They said they would do these solos before the show where the band would, because people came to see the band as well. And each band person got to do a solo. So the drum guy did a solo, guitarist did a solo, bass did a solo. They said when Jimmy did his solo, people was like, hold up, bring him back. Like he tearing the guitar up. So they said they had to fire him. They was like, we had to fire Jimmy. And they was like, you got to get your own thing because you too good to play with us. I know we the Isley Brothers, but you too good. Go get your own thing.
To
be in the band, right? To be the dude. Yeah, you can't be the dude in the band. You got to go. Bye. And Jimi Hendrix was like, he said, I was kind of discouraged, but proud at the same time because they gave me props. But they dissed me at the same time. Like, it's like, yo, you can't stay here, bro. Eric Clapton said the same thing.
We're gonna break it down, Legion, and damn.
Oh yeah.
I can't say I agree, but we're gonna get there in a minute. We're gonna get there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there, Legion. We're gonna get there, Legion. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Doctor Strange. We're gonna pan the chop.
And chop it up.
Pan the chop.
We're gonna get it. But going through all of that, do you think that today's music? I mean, do you think that music? This is the question. When I heard stuff that my parents listened to, even though I didn't grow up on it, it sounded good. Like it sounded like it's like, to me, a good song is a good song is a good song. I don't care what genre it is. I don't care how old it is. I don't care who made it. So like, you would hear stuff your parents listen to, you be like, yo, that's kind of dope. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't listen to that, but I can listen to it. Then you hear the stuff that we grew up on. You like, damn, that's dope. You know what I mean? Then you go to the future, and now you listen to the music. Do you think that music now, 20 years from now, like your children would be able to say that stuff they was listening back like 2022, like that was dope? Or do you think they're gonna be like, what the hell were they doing back then?
I think that you always identify more with your own era to a certain extent, right? Because it's like it speaks to you in the time era and everything. I mean, there's exceptions. Some people feel like they should have been born in a different time era and they love everything about that time period. They actually put in the work to seek that kind of music, the fashion, everything, right?
Right.
But I think for a certain standpoint, it's like music is so connected to memories. It's like a time machine, right? You went to the dance. You remember what song was playing when you had your first dance with somebody, right? It's connected to that way. You remember when this song came out. If you say like you were talking about earlier, I remember when All Eyes on Me came out, and you remember where you were at in your life and everything, So I feel like there's that special connection to the music in that way that kind of makes it a little biased in that way, right?
Yeah.
Because you connect with it in that kind of level. I don't know if because my kids, man, they listen to mainly like 90s shit too, just like me. Like I let them listen to that stuff and like they really like it. They rock with it, So
how old are they?
See that? Right.
How old are you?
I have a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Okay.
And
my son's 17.
that's my point.
No, but it's I think you dig whatever you were a teenager when it came out. That's your era. Your era is when you were a teenager. What was coming out then? That's your shit. And you know, like when you came of age, like my son, he's 17, so he's got his stuff from today that he likes, but he still knows I raised him on Nas and Pac and Wu-Tang and Biggie. Like he knows good shit. And just like I liked, you know, and understood my parents' music, like Stu was just saying, he digs mine and he understands it. But of course, he still got his, you know, his stuff. That's his era. But little, you know, when he was little, he only listened to my music. You know what I mean?
That's how my kids were. Yeah, that's how my kids were too. Because it's just a question, you know, in a simpler version of the question, do you think that your children will be able to connect with another generation beyond their own, as you know, going backward and forward? Because like I can listen to stuff today, now.
Like the mumble rap today. Do you think kids in the future are gonna look back and dig it?
Yeah. Can they look back and say we can make a connection? Like you said, they can be like, you know what? That's all right. Or do you think they'll look back and be like, what the hell was going on in 2022?
I think both. I think that, you know what, like you can say what you want about these rappers these days, but you gotta actually give them some props because the melodies that they create is fire though. You know, I mean, you might not dig the lyrics at all. They're talking some shit, like some like
some like Bruce World,
you know?
like
but the melody is something else, you know. It's like just like I think what was a good point is that we can look at them and say, you guys can't rap like us on that lyrical shit, but they can look at us and say, you guys can't sing like us. You know, I mean, like the problem also is because it's like these days there is no line in between R&B and rap anymore.
And rap.
Like you remember before, it was like, yo, we gotta get the hottest singer on my rap record, right? I gotta get the hottest rapper on my R&B record. Nowadays, the rappers want to be like the singers want to be like the rappers, and it's just like there's no line. Once you throw in autotune in there, like who is who even more? You know what I mean? Like look at Tory Lanez.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was supposed to be a singer, right?
He's supposed but he come out with those Christmas joints every year, and it sound more like rap to me than singing. So I agree with that, man. What do you think about Flea Lord? What do you think about Flea Lord, Mayhem Lauren, and the stuff they did with DJ Muggs coming from the West Coast? Because DJ Muggs is originally from the East Coast. He's originally from New York.
Oh yeah.
He's originally from New York. Now, as far as production wise, DJ Muggs coming off the West Coast, man, is the illest thing. You got Dr. Dre and DJ Muggs, as far as I'm concerned, the illest producers on the West Coast.
He's mad underrated though, bro. He don't get the respect that he deserves.
None, period, bro.
You know what I mean?
None, period.
I mean, Cypress Hill as a whole, I think that they got the respect, like people respect their name, but I don't feel like they give him enough respect as far as like creating their sound though.
Right. And their look,
you know what I mean?
Their look too. Their look, because when you look at their album covers, I watched an interview where he said, if you look at all our album covers, he said you never see us on the album cover. He said because I wanted them to be classic and timeless. I wanted you to be able to look at that album cover 20 years from now and be like, that's dope. Instead of, because he said if you look at like LL's for, you see LL on the cover, he don't look like that now.
Yeah, you got the bucket hat and the
right, yeah. He said, you know it's old.
Diesel,
right, exactly. Yeah, he said, you know it's old. He said, I wanted somebody 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now to look at my album covers and be like, yo, like, damn, is this new? Is this, what's up? And he said, that's why we always put some artwork on the front of our covers instead of our pictures. Like, and when you look at Cypress Hill, on that, all the album, you don't see them three on the cover. You just see some type of art.
Yeah.
Yo, that story about Be Real is funny though, man. You know how they said that they were gonna kick him out of the group or just have him like write the lyrics because his rapping style was just like his voice was terrible.
His voice,
That's how he developed that high pitch rapping.
The nasal. Yeah, they call him the
nasal. Like he got baby nuts.
Yeah, they call him the nasal. Yeah.
Oh, you just referenced that West Side Connection diss, huh?
Yeah.
But he's another one. DJ Muggs, he comes to New York every year. If you listen to Soul Assassins, Every so often he'll come to New York, and he only works with underground rappers. He doesn't work. He doesn't want to work with anybody. He wants the hottest underground rapper, and he puts him on. And I thought that was dope the way he did that, because he gave us Ito, he gave us Flea Lord, he gave us and I had heard of them on an underground tip, here and there,
Right.
on and off of Bandcamp. But once Muggs got done with them and put them on, they blew all the way up, because the production behind what they were doing made them that much more better. You know what I
But
mean?
bro, like
Especially production
that's the
coming
thing
from
though.
Muggs.
Producers don't get enough credit, because it's
No.
the producer that sets the canvas for the artist, right? It's the real producers, not just beat makers, producers that are behind the board saying, I don't think you should say it like this. I think you should say it like this.
Yeah.
I think you should switch this part up or something. Like beat makers, they just give you the beat and like the artist goes and does whatever, right? But like real producers, like they had back in the day, they were the ones that were doing that.
Yeah,
like Puffy,
was a real producer. He wasn't just he might have made a little beat here and there, but he was, like they said, spoon feeding Biggie, mainstream and getting them, into that mainstream. But yeah, man, I'm ready to get into this.
Let's do it. Let's chop it up.
Chop
pen
it
chop,
up.
pen chop, pen chop, pen chop, pen chop.
Y'all ready to chop up Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? So everybody that's here, hopefully you've seen the movie, because we about to break it down, and we're gonna spoil a whole lot of shit. If you ain't see it, plug your ears. Yeah, I don't want nobody to get mad, because we are going to talk about it. And there's a lot to talk about. I mean, there's just, where do you start, man? It's a whole lot to unpack.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can help you out.
Okay.
You got to remember everything that happens in this movie, right? And everything that happened in WandaVision is based off of House of M. I mean, X-Men have Marvel's taken those old X-Men stories, panda chop, panda chop, panda chop, and then made them into new stories that we get to enjoy now on the screen. So when you look at this new movie here with Doctor Strange, Reno, you read House of M. So when you go back to House of M and you start thinking and you start looking, you go back and reference some of them comics, you're going to find a lot of things in there that are referenced directly to the comic and put on this big screen right here. So when you look at the book that Wanda read, remember that Agatha had the book in the shelf. She was the Darkhold. I remember she was draining the souls from the witches in there and getting their power. So that's how she became so powerful.
Well, she told Wanda then, she said while she was holding the Darkhold, she said, your power exceeds the Sorcerer Supreme, and you are destined to destroy the world.
Yes.
And that's what we seen unfold. And, it starts off with Doctor Strange, the Defender, from the Defenders comics. So this is Defenders Doctor Strange.
That's Defender Strange. That's Defender Strange. That's Defender Strange.
This is Defender Strange, where you see him with the hair slicked back and the you know what I mean, the ponytail and all of that. That's Defenders.
Right. That's Defender Strange
from another universe. So right away, when you see that, you're like, okay, this ain't this Doctor Strange. You know it off top. And he's rolling through with America Chavez, who also I want to mention. I anticipated not liking this character. I really thought that
she's been dope from day one. I don't know if I agree with the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of her.
Well, no, I really liked it. I really liked it. Like, I was not annoyed by her. Like, she wasn't annoying. She wasn't.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree
with
that.
Her LGBTQ pin, but she didn't.
Which I don't know why, but
talk about it every 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, it was really.
What made you think that you weren't gonna like her?
Because I don't, like, I'm just not a fan of these, a lot of these, like Ms. Marvel. I kind of lumped her in with like Ms. Marvel and like, with the big, the big dumpy hands, that character, who I'm sure I'm not gonna like that movie. I think it's gonna be annoying. I don't know. I just like, that's where I kind of thought she was gonna be, but not at all. Like she killed it. She acted it perfectly well. Like, she was really good. Made me like the character, made me want to go check out the comics. It made me want to learn more about America Chavez, because I didn't know anything about her except for the fact, I knew what her power was and all that, but I never read any of her comics because it just wasn't my style of, you know, what I'm into. But she really surprised me. She really surprised me in that, you know, the way she played it and everything. And you know, another thing was Shuma Gorath. Now we
Well, that
saw
really wasn't Shuma Gorath
it was
because
Garganto.
right now the reason why they did that, Reno,
I
and
know why they did
I right because Shuma Gorath is owned by the same company that owns Conan the Barbarian, so
exactly.
he can't appear as Shuma Gorath in the comics. He has to be renamed
Yeah.
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of it. I mean, it's, you know, they were burdened with restoring the multiverse in Doctor Strange in the movie, and then after having previously, you know, tampered with it in No Way Home. But you know, they wanted to bring in a lot of these, you know, new characters and stuff like that. And with one of these new characters being Shuma Gorath, who first appeared in Marvel's animated What If series. And it was Shuma Gorath, and that was in What If it was Shuma Gorath. So, and they can use it, but they just didn't want to go through all the, you know, red tape of having to use it. And you know, after like a recent glance at the early merchandising, I think a lot of people noticed that the name was changed to Gargantos, which is a similar being from the Namor the Submariner comics. And a lot of people didn't know why they did that. And some fans might jump to the conclusion, you know, of Marvel Studios being more culturally sensitive, as was the case for the name changes of M'Baku from Black Panther, Cull Obsidian from Avengers Infinity War. But on closer inspection, the name change likely occurred due to a lot of issues, but issues of ownership. Like you said, Marvel first used it's a Lovecraftian monster from Lovecraft. It's actually a, you know what I'm saying, like Conan got it from there. But Marvel's been doing it since 1973, but the character formally appeared 6 years prior to Robert E. Howard's Kull the Conqueror story, Curse of the Golden Skull. And since Kull the Conqueror and Conan the Barbarian are owned by Universal Pictures, you know, it was likely that Shuma Gorath also belonged to that film studio. So, you know, you could kind of glean why they might have done it. And while there have been rumors of Marvel acquiring the rights of Namor and Hulk from Universal Pictures, Marvel Studios' ability to utilize those characters are much more limited than those that are already owned by Marvel. So despite Marvel attempting to rename the character, it may not be enough to avoid a lawsuit if they keep Shuma Gorath's character traits intact, because it's not just the name they changed, the traits and everything. Because
they had to.
Yeah, and other issues arise with the character renaming. Garganto has already appeared in the Namor the Submariner comic book series. Namor is rumored to be, you know, in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie, and it's likely that, you know, Marvel may have fully purchased the rights to Gargantos. And it's also likely that Marvel may have come to an arrangement of sorts with Universal Pictures to use the character, similar to the deal between Marvel and Sony and Spider-Man in the MCU. You know, an arrangement like that would allow Marvel to introduce Gargantos in the Doctor Strange sequel to perhaps tie in, you know, the character to Namor down the road. Additionally, it's possible that the character's name change might have been as a marketing strategy to increase like toy sales, because Gargantos sounds a lot catchier than Shuma Gorath. And, you know, kids aren't going to, well, Shuma Gorath, that doesn't sound, it's just not a marketable name. But, you know, despite some fans not agreeing with the name change, Marvel Studios will still do the character justice if the character's personality, you know, is able to remain intact when they do end up using him, because as the studio's done time and time again. But another possibility is that there may be more than one tentacled monster with the same name, or its, you know, or its name is the same of the name of its species. But either way, Doctor Strange, you know, attempts to fix the fractioning of the multi-universe, and more threats, you know, will emerge and come out and wreak havoc, and, you know, all of that, you know, might be the squid variety. But people don't like Shuma Gorath, like that monster in the movie. It was really Gargantos, because Shuma Gorath is a super powerful, super intelligent, you know what I mean? Like, it's like Dormammu's master. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shuma Gorath is like a god. And this monster was like pretty much it didn't talk. It was just like kind of like a mindless beast crashing shit, sort of rampaging through the city. But you know what I'm saying? If you, like me, screamed when Shumagarath, appeared on the episode of What If, then you may have been somewhat surprised to learn that in the MCU, the Elder God and beloved Marvelverse Capcom character, they changed the name, but called Gargantos on official MCU merchandise and the official press materials. But I mean,
is it worth the risk of the lawsuit? Do you think? Like, is it really necessary to have that story specifically?
No, it's not, because that Shumagarath, like I said, is a big character. For it to just be fought in the street, stabbed in the eye, and wiped out with no sort of character development, nothing going on with it, it would be a complete waste of that character. Because, like I said, that character, especially in Doctor Strange, has had a lot to, is a big, part of that whole mythos.
Right.
And, with, it was named by Robert E. Howard in his posthumously published Cull story, The Curse of the Golden Skull. But Shumagarath was just that. It was just a name. But beginning in Marvel Premiere number 3, Doctor Strange started battling a string of antagonists who had a mysterious puppet master that was sort of running everything. And over the next few comic issues, the name Shumagarath is like revealed as the force behind the attacks. And it sort of culminates in Shumagarath's first Marvel Comics appearance in Marvel Premiere number 10. A giant pink one-eyed monster with gangly tentacles, Shumagarath. It was a malevolent deity from another dimension. But Doctor Strange managed to dispatch him, and the character appeared sparsely over the next 20 years, shifting from pink to green, different colors, in different appearances. The Lord of Chaos is one of his names. He was so obscure that Marvel's licensing division was shocked when Capcom requested to use it. Because in the 1995 fighting game, Marvel vs. Capcom, that's like where most people, heard of the character. Like, what's this?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it, them including him in that game sort of took him to new heights. And he also featured in Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And in the past decade or so, his cult status as a fan favorite, video game character has caused Marvel to use the many tentacled Lord of Chaos in greater number of comics. Still facing off with Doctor Strange in most of his appearances. He's a Doctor Strange character, so of course you're gonna assume, this is Shumagarath. Like, who is Gargantos and why is he in a Doctor Strange movie? But he's.
How much did Universal want to charge them to buy it?
Well, and I don't think they even asked that question. Gotcha. Because, you know what I mean? And I think, and like, I think that I think it's more of like an Easter egg. It was like a reference to Shumagarath because, yes, this is a Doctor Strange movie. We know we're watching Doctor Strange. So wouldn't it be cool to put in some Doctor Strange characters from the comics? But making it actually be Shumagarath is the problem, because it's not only the name thing, which, Stu, you're right. That's, probably the main factor. But it's also, they would have to carve out a big chunk of that movie for that character, because that character has a lot behind him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just a monster. He's a god. He has, big long dialogue sessions with Doctor Strange in the comics, and like he's like a super being. But Gargantos is just a sea monster that Namor battles and quickly kills in the comics. He was like Submariner number 13 from 1969. And he was unleashed by the evil Emperor Naga, and he appeared just as mindless, like veritably mindless. And Gargantos gets killed, within a few pages by Prince Namor. So it makes sense that they actually made it that character, because this is a creature that they just wanted him to kill. It didn't really it wasn't really anything about the plot. You know what I mean? It didn't push anything forward. It didn't change anything. It was just like, oh, here's a monster they can kill and it'll be cool. And wouldn't it be neat to do an Easter egg to one of the biggest characters in Doctor Strange? I think that's, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was a combination of things. Like I said, it's a lot of issues why they did that. Because this is like a big subject. Like, I don't know if anybody knows, but like, this was a big subject because fans were hype as fuck when we saw Shuma Gorath in the trailer. Like, we're like, yo, because it's such a iconic character.
It's an homage, right? It's right. And it's just paying homage to Doctor Strange and his villains. Because we haven't had Doctor Strange fight a Doctor Strange villain full out head on, even in the first movie. When he just went and talked to Dormammu, it was at the end of the movie. And then we ended it. But to see him actually battle, you know, somebody that's his nemesis, like it's like Batman not fighting the Joker. But the Joker comes in at the end of the movie and laughs a little bit, and then Batman, you know, does something to quell him, and then we're at the end of the movie. Like it's exactly like that. So
yeah,
hopefully they get the rights together for that, and we can get a Shuma Gorath in the movie.
Because why would Marvel just use this? You know, the name. Why, you know, the name of this obscure monster has no connection to Doctor Strange. You know, why is Gargantos in the movie? But in the end, I think it's all about the complex story of Shuma Gorath's creation, and Shuma Gorath as a character. You know, because Marvel writer and editor Roy Thomas is a massive Robert E. Howard fan, and even referencing the Shuma Gorath in a Marvel horror anthology comic years before the monster ever appeared. And as the editor of the Marvel premiere series, Thomas and Marvel included a credit that read featuring concepts created by Robert E. Howard, you know, beginning with Marvel premiere number 4. And although no details, you know, publicly exist about the deal between the Howard estate and Marvel to use the Shuma Gorath name, the credit essentially cements the creature as a Howard creation. And that means Marvel would likely have had to pay the owners. And of course, like you were saying, Panda, it's not like they couldn't afford it. It wouldn't have been, you know, something they just couldn't do. But why pay for that if we can't, like, a big chunk of this movie would have to be about this character. It's just too big of a character. So let's just
So you don't think that that's where they were trying to go? So they just wanted to do like a sub.
It's like like an Easter egg, just like sort of a reference, like Stu said, an homage to Shuma Gorath because he's a favorite character. You know what I mean? So it was like, I mean, like this is Shuma Gorath right here talking to Doctor Strange, like this big eyeball. He's like, "You've grown powerful, Doctor Strange, but this is not a new thing to me. I did not boast when I said you could not defeat me, but told the simple truth." You know what I'm saying? The earth philosopher Nietzsche said, "He who fights too long." You know what I'm saying? He's quoting Nietzsche. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's not this. You know what I mean? And this is Gargantos from Namor. You know what I mean? It's a mindless giant squid, giant octopus. But this is Shuma Gorath. I mean, he speaks. He's like, "Face my true form and die." And it says in that instant, as the revealed scourge of all that is confronts mankind's sole defender for the ultimate conflict, the entire universe seems to tense. So like there, you know, Shuma Gorath is a major force, a big character. He's not this guy that just got killed real easy. Oh, and this is kind of how he looks in the game too.
That's exactly how he looks in the game.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
Here he is in a newer one.
Still classic.
Still classic.
Yeah.
Still classic. Yeah, because even with America Chavez, they kind of changed her up a little bit too. She's from a utopian parallel reality that's not part of the multiverse.
Yeah, and they showed that was where they showed
They showed
mom.
that.
Yeah.
Now she does have 2 moms, but it's not like the LGBTQ thing. It's just what they had. And there she talks about sending her moms through a portal by accident. In the comics, it wasn't her mother's that she sent; it was her sister that she lost. Her mothers actually sacrificed themselves to save their reality in the multiverse, and they scattered their atoms got scattered across the multiverse as they know it. So like they weren't lost. Her sister's lost in the multiverse, but not her mother's. They actually sacrifice themselves. That's the comic book version, but in the movie version, you know, they got to switch it up.
I think they switched it up because they wanted, like, adding the sister thing. That would be another thing they would have to, you know, go into deeper. And this way they get the representation of the LGBTQ, the two moms. Like, they wanted to focus on that.
Right. That's why she had to pin. Right. That's why she had to pin on.
Are you guys a traditionalist in that way, where like you want it to be exactly like the comic?
Not always, no, but we do want to see.
Whoa! I can answer that question. Yeah, I can answer. It depends. It depends on what it is. Yeah. Because here on this channel, if you go back and watch, we complain about Wolverine not having the costume. Now that. Yeah, we ain't know about that. Yeah, we ain't know about Wolverine. Yeah. Somebody else we can put up with some little nuances here and there, and we keep asking for a black and gray. I mean, the gray and blue Batman suit.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see gray and blue Batman. But some of the things from the comics would not work in the movie, and I accept that.
It doesn't translate well.
Yeah, it doesn't translate into live action well. It might look silly. Some of the costumes are hard to even create in real life, the way they're drawn. Like, a lot of it, some things just won't work, and that's fine. But when they just, like with Wolverine, just refused to give him the like, he never once had the costume on, never once wore the mask in like what, 6 movies?
Right.
Like, I think 7 movies or something like that.
All the X-Men movies were about him.
All the they were. You're right. No, you're right.
His own movies, he had Origins, he had Logan, he had the Wolverine, you know what I mean? Like, he had his own.
And he had all the X-Men movies. Panda Shadow's right. Because all the X-Men movies were about Wolverine. He's right. Yeah. But he never donned the costume and none.
So it's not a complaint to say that those movies. Okay, it's not a complaint to say that character played by Hugh Jackman wasn't well done. And like, Hugh Jackman killed it. Like, I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He iconic. He's very iconic. You know, he personified the role in live action, and that's cool. But I still, now that we've had like 9 movies of that, cool.
Right.
But can I one time get, you know, animalistic, just short, you know, 5 foot, wearing a costume, you know,
Berserker Barrage.
Yeah, right. Just once. Just let me, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, they did that briefcase, right, where they showed the costume, but he just never put it on.
That was like a slap.
Right. Yeah, that was yeah, we were upset about that, man. We really were kind of upset about that, man. You shouldn't have showed us that.
Yeah.
So do you guys like it when it's more like, is it a problem when they pull the source from a couple of different comics from, like, say, Wolverine, and use that as the source for a movie? Well, you guys want it like particularly like, this is the one storyline, we need it exactly from there, like that?
Well, so if they that's you know, no, because it could go both ways. You could go both ways, but sometimes, like, and what you're talking about is like in a movie where they'll combine stuff from a bunch of different comics and make one story in the movie, and like, you know, that a bunch of parts from that movie came from like 6 different comics, 6 different peoples, even different universes. So they have like the Ultimate Universe. And, you know, those are all the ones that start with the word ultimate, right? They have Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Avengers, and that's a whole different universe. Characters look different. They got different costumes. Some of them are different people. And, you know, so they'll take stories from that, and then they'll take also stories from the regular, what's called the 616 universe, the main Marvel universe, and they'll mix all that stuff up. I don't have a problem with it. As if it's done right. It's got to be done well. You know what I mean? Like, if it's done well, and I think they've done pretty good so far. You know, Marvel, the only real bombs, like the only movies that I really didn't dig was like Eternals. All the shows were good to me. Morbius was whack.
That's rough.
Yeah, Morbius.
How much of a part do they play in making the Sony ones, though?
Well, that's the question. Like, MCU doesn't really play a part. It's like Sony doing its own thing. And you know what they've done, what Sony does is they own Spider-Man and all his villains.
Right.
So but that's it. They don't own a bunch of other heroes, so they can only make Spider-Man movies or villain movies. So people are like, why are they making these Spider-Man villain movies with Spider-Man not in it? And the answer is because they want to milk what they bought for what they can get. Like, I've got all these characters, but I would have to just wait to do a Spider-Man movie to make money off it, and we can only do so many Spider-Man movies. You know what I mean? So let's use this character and make a movie with it. Let's use this character and make a movie with it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, Venom.
So Marvel doesn't even get to sign off on anything. They don't really do anything. It's just Sony. They just have the name Marvel on it, right? Like in
Sony
association with Marvel.
Yeah. But it's not considered the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. But yeah, they shout out Lito's Way in the building. There are changes that can be odd. For example, Hela being Loki and Thor's sister instead of Loki's daughter. But I guess they need to do some things work a certain way. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. I actually didn't like what Guardians did with Drax. They made Drax.
They wear a shirt.
But and then also his character, he's like very like silly and kind of, you know, not that smart and all of that. But Drax isn't really like that in the comics.
No, not at all. Not at all. Drax is a lot more. He's literally Drax the Destroyer in the comics.
Right.
What happened to he should be back. Yeah, he should be back, man. We'll just keep going. So, you know, I did like the movie. I thought it was dope. I thought the movie it was very entertaining. It's one of the better Marvel movies. We got to get the Lito's Way official score of the movie, but I thought it was dope. I like the fact that they showed you how Doctor Strange. In the first movie, it was about Doctor Strange's ego, like him giving up his ego, and that's what kept him from becoming a wizard. But when the Sorcerer Supreme died, the original one, which was originally, like we talked about earlier, Panda, in their comics, the Sorcerer Supreme that Doctor Strange met at the beginning is a short Chinese man, a short, bald Chinese man. And I guess they thought that'd be too stereotypical, so they made it a bald woman. And
he was like a Fu Manchu.
Yeah, right. He was. The long beard. Yeah, so
it backfired on him because they thought, oh, well, that's going to be offensive to Asian people and stereotypes.
But it wasn't. They actually were mad that right. They were actually mad that you didn't even put him in there. Yeah.
Instead, we'll put a white woman in there, thinking that was going to be better. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
Yeah, they were thinking, but people were upset about that. Yeah, people was like, well, we're more offended you did that than just let it ride the way it should have been. Yeah. So the Sorcerer Supreme's problem was she couldn't let go. She lived for a long time, and she was tapping into the dark magic. That's what kept her alive so long. And she finally got it at the end when she was talking to Strange, and she was like, you know what, I gotta let go. But in this movie, that's where Strange's old girlfriend was like, look, you got to be the one holding the knife, because that's the new problem they had with Strange, was now that he felt that he's the smartest, he's the strongest, and he is a powerful wizard. But he can't always be the hero. Sometimes you might have to give it to somebody else to do. And at the end of the movie, he let Chavez take over and say, look, I can't beat her, but you can. That was him overcoming his idiosyncrasies by saying, you know what? Because remember, the girl told him, you always got to hold the knife. You got to do it. And sometimes it don't have to be you, but you can be the catalyst that make it happen. Which in the comics leads to him to the Defenders. That's how he would form the Defenders. Instead of him going to do it, well, I can put these heroes together and they can go do it. And that might be a catalyst for us getting a Defenders movie in the future, by him able to overcome that demon where he can let somebody else go out and do it, and he just guides them through it. So I thought it was dope. You know, I really enjoyed it, man. I really, you know, I was clapping my hands. I had to stand up and give an ovation and turn around 3 times. I did all of that. Spilled my popcorn on the floor. You know, I did.
Talk about the Illuminati battle. So we had the Illuminati. We were waiting on the Illuminati. We saw the trailer. We was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And then we saw Professor X's yellow chair. You know what I mean? Like that was ill.
And that's what we want.
So this is Professor X, obviously, but on his right, or on his left, our right, you see the Illuminati from the comics. And you know what I mean, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Namor, Black Bolt, Iron Man, Tony Stark, and Professor X.
That's the 616 Illuminati.
That's the 616 Illuminati. Well, the Illuminati we got for this movie, they replaced a couple of characters. They replaced Namor and Iron Man with
Black Bolt.
No, Black Bolt's there. They didn't replace Black Bolt. He's supposed to.
No, I mean not Black Bolt. Yeah,
Captain
Carter.
Marvel and Miss Carter.
Captain Carter and Miss Marvel.
Yeah, yes, the two captains. Yeah. So there you go. You got Captain Marvel, Peggy Carter, Captain Britain, and then you got Captain Marvel. It was and here you see right there. That's Professor X in the chair. The chair was a little short, but I guess that it would have looked it wouldn't have looked right up there if he was kind of sitting way back far because his little car was poking out.
Right.
And that's the thing, like certain stuff like that being comic accurate 100% isn't as important if it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like if this chair was like from the comics, it would either be sticking way over the edge or he'd have to be like 4 feet back.
Yeah.
And then we got Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic.
Which I don't know, like it was cool. And that's someone that the fans, on the internet anyway, the vocal minority wanted him to play the role, and we got him as that character for this movie in that universe. But important thing to remember is this is not the 616 universe Illuminati. This was just that, in other words, like 800 and whatever it was, universe Illuminati, which is why it was kind of okay that they got wiped out like that by Wanda, and they didn't really do a good job fighting her, and they replaced a couple characters, other characters. So at first you might be kind of miffed, like damn man, like that's the Illuminati. Like, how did she just wipe them out? Like, that sucks. We didn't even get that.
I was the same way, because Captain Marvel is powerful. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, America Chavez. If you ever I read some of the America Chavez comics, and if you take America Chavez, she's very, very powerful. They even said that she can even put a dent in Captain Marvel, and it's hard to put a dent in Captain Marvel. So, like, Captain Marvel should have been the catalyst that gave Wanda some work. Like, Wanda shouldn't have been able to get with her because they actually created from the same energy from Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
but Captain Marvel,
she did though.
Like comics, more,
She killed Namor and Mr. Fantastic not Namor, Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic real easily. And then she killed Professor X pretty easily, and it was the two women, Captain Marvel and Captain
Carter.
That's her right there getting she's throwing her shield out, or she's got her jetpack on. But this movie was kind of dark. Like, this is where the Sam Raimi stuff came into the movie. You saw Black Bolt, which why Mr. Fantastic told Wanda that Black Bolt uses his mouth to kill you. I mean, I
could never understand that. Right?
She said, "What mouth?" And then boom, he had no mouth. Now, why someone like Black Bolt, who knows what his voice does, would then make a sound in his own head, I don't know either. But it was real dark. Like, he had no mouth, and he's like, oh, and then he sort of yelled, but he couldn't yell because he had no mouth. So it like imploded his head, like collapsed on itself. This shit was dark. And then she threw the shield and cut Captain Carter in half. Like, it was a lot of, I mean, she was out here, bro, all bloody, looking like Carrie from, from Stephen King.
And giving out work, bro.
Yeah, but she's mad. But the idea was they wanted to show how powerful she was. They wanted to show that she is a massive threat, and she is, bro. Like, people don't really realize Scarlet Witch in the comics, she's a reality warper. She could literally just change reality as you know it. I mean, I was kind of disappointed at the magic that they used, like when she was fighting all the sorcerers on the mountain in their little fortress. She just like shooting beams. Like, I thought she should have been turning dudes' heads inside out, making people's, just changing their whole physiology, just changing reality, doing all kinds of crazy shit, because that's what she's capable of. But instead, they just had her blasting, fireballs. She did go in their mind a little bit, and sort of try to make them, try to break their will. And that was cool. But she's really capable, dude. Like she's massively powerful. And they were trying to show that by this is the Illuminati, and she just wiped them out.
Yeah, she did.
It's to show her, her extreme power. And why I've come to accept it and be okay with it, because I was kind of mad at first because I love the Illuminati. But I'm okay with it because I realized, you know what, that's not the 616 Illuminati. And another thing about that being not the 616 Illuminati, the Krasinski reveal was epic. Him as Mr. Fantastic was anticipated. And then you had Black Bolt from the really shitty, really garbage, whack Inhumans TV show that they did that was just horrible in every way. But this is the same actor from that show. And he was the only good part about the show. I'm not a fan of the Inhumans at all. Don't like him. But I love Black Bolt. Like, he's one of my favorite characters in comics. I love Black Bolt. But I don't like the Inhumans. But we got him. We got Patrick Stewart as Professor X. All of these people are not going to reprise those roles. In the future, when we have a Fantastic Four movie, chances are it's not going to be Krasinski. He didn't play the character right either. I mean, Mr. Fantastic is very analytical. He's very cold. He's very analytical. He's very, scientific, strategic. And Krasinski played him like, more of a, personality kind of guy. And that's cool. But Professor X, I mean, you could see his age. You know what I mean? Like he's getting up there. So I don't see him.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart is.
Yeah.
They'll probably keep
he's
it. He's getting up there, and
he's getting up there,
yeah. And so those characters won't. Those characters are coming back. They'll be in the MCU. There's definitely going to be a Fantastic Four movie, but it probably won't be Krasinski playing him. There'll definitely be an X-Men movie, but it won't be Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
He didn't even want to come back as Professor X originally, right? The only reason why he came to this movie is because the way they explained it to him, how it was going to be that specific role.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And Patrick Stewart's 80. He's 81, bro. So
yeah.
It's only he's 81. Yeah.
Like the movie magic.
I'm Pat making me laugh. I'm sorry. He's 81, man. He's 81. So
take a break out the old folks' home, man.
Yeah, man. He might want to enjoy the fruits of his labor. He might not want to do all this acting and travel.
Yeah, 616 is the main Marvel universe. That's the Marvel universe that all the movies take place. That's everything we see. Like, that's the main universe when they don't.
And that's another thing too. Reno, that they explained to us, that Chavez explained. And going back and look at some of the other movies, I get it. Like, remember when she was saying that when you dream, he was like, "You were in my dream." She was like, "That wasn't a dream." And remember how Tony Stark said when in the Avengers movie, he was like, he was talking to Pepper. He was like, "Yo, I had a dream. We had a kid. We did this. We named him after your uncle. We did it." So Chavez told him, like, that wasn't a dream. That was real. Like, but that was just him, looking at himself in another universe.
Because dreams in this what he's movie are just you seeing the other
yourself, right? Your other self.
You're seeing
in the multiverse, right? Yeah, because So I kind of put that together when she said that. I was like, no, Tony said he had a dream about himself, and Pepper, and they had a kid, they had a daughter. I was like, yo, so that was his other multiversal self he was looking at. It wasn't really a dream.
Right. And and Wanda, like my son Blaze, he said it, and he was like, Wanda seemed in the show to, like, change her ways. Like, she seemed like she got it. She wasn't gonna be, she understood the kids weren't real and all that. Like, she seemed like she got a grasp on reality. And then in this movie, she's just a murderer. She's just a dark, but it's like the dark hold sort of took hold of her, and it changed her.
It did.
And made her.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And then
because remember what Dark Strange told him. And remember Dark Strange was like, look, if you read this book, you got to pay a price. Like, it takes, it extracts a heavy toll.
Strikes a toll.
And that was her toll, right? It kept tricking her into thinking that if she did this, that it would bring her kids back, or she could be with her children.
Right.
But that wasn't the case.
And when she sees her kids, cowering in fear, not recognizing her, and she's throwing their mom around, like that was the whole thing. Like she would have to go to the universe where her kids are and like kill their real mom and sort of take that role. And she wasn't thinking that way. She didn't see that as a problem yet. But the dark hold didn't have enough hold of her that, her kids, seeing them in fear, that didn't shock her back to reality. And she realizes, hey, this is wrong, woo, woo, woo. And she, change. But you got a lot of like great Sam Ramey Evil Dead aspects in this movie, a lot of dark horror shit, you know what I mean? Like this is the darkest Marvel movie I think so far. And I mean dark as in disturbing. Like, you know what I mean? Like Blade was dark and but this was like on some a disturbing level, a little bit like kind of weird and creepy. Yeah, Cooks 838. That's right, Lito. It's the 838 universe. In this movie, the Illuminati that got killed, that was the 838s. But a lot of the different multiverses monitor the multiverse. And there's like the Council of Reeds. There's a whole Council of Reed Richards where all the Reed Richards from a bunch of different universes got together and they're kicking it in one place, sort of watching everything, trying to maintain everything, making sure, shit don't, go too far in any direction. And so there's a lot they can do.
Don't forget, we got introduced to Kang. And Kang can change things in the multiverse. Like,
exactly.
Remember what he told them at the end of that last movie, at the end of the Loki series? Remember what he told them? He was like, look, if you kill me, I'm going to come back, but it's going to be different because I'm going to learn from what happened.
Right.
So what do you want to do? He gave them a choice. And the female Loki killed him. When they came back, it was different. Instead of him hiding everything from him, they knew about him, which they didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
And there were statues of him all over the place. That's how he changed everything. So he was like, it's just going to be me, but it's going to be a different version of me. So that, going to the multiverse opens up the door for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what we can see, going into the future.
And
because Marvel plans these movies 10 years out. So
they got it all already planned out. We don't know what's going to happen, but they already do. But yeah, Cooks, this was like a continuation of the WandaVision show. And that's what Feige told us about those shows. Those shows are going to be foreshadowings to the movies that are going to come out. So all the stuff like in the What If show and in the Wanda show, that's leading into this movie. The stuff, the Moon Knight stuff, that's going to lead into some.
Let me ask you a question, Reno.
Egyptian lore.
Let me ask you a question, Reno. What movie are we going to get from the Loki series?
Well, this is part of it, and Kang and all of that, like the Kang movies, like the movie with Kang, like that's gonna lead into another multiversal movie, the Kang the Conqueror movie, and I think also the Moon Knight is also going to have to do with that because Kang Rama-Tut was an Egyptian pharaoh at one point. See, Kang's a time traveler. That's what he does. He's from super far in the future, and he goes through different times and like rules and does whatever he does. And so it'll be mixing time travel with multiverse. And yeah, in Secret Wars story, Dr. Doom became God. I think MCU is replacing Dr. Doom role here with Kang. We'll get Doom in original form. Doom and Kang actually had a thing where they dealt with each other. Like
they deal with each other. Yeah.
Kang took Doom through like the different times, and so yeah, I think the Fantastic Four movie's gonna tie in with that, with Doom, you know what I mean? And so Loki, Moon Knight, you know what I mean? All that's gonna foreshadow whatever movies they've got planned, and you can see what movies are coming out. I don't have the list right here, but if you want to know exactly what it's going to foreshadow, you can pretty well easily, figure it out. And but yeah, a lot of Easter eggs in this joint. You had a lot of cameos. Nicodemus West, Michael Stuhlbarg reprised his role from Doctor Strange, where he was one of the surgeons. He was just a surgeon in Doctor Strange, so he's the one that came back and was talking to him in the
about
church.
the cats.
Yeah. And the oath in which he steals an elixir that puts Strange in his path, leading to a battle, in which he meets his demise. But it's notable in Multiverse of Madness that West, disheveled and bitter, does have a darker edge, and he blames Strange for his 5-year disappearance following the Doctor Strange's surrender to the Time Stone to Thanos in Infinity War, which his cats and his brother died. And it's possible that he may have slightly more antagonistic role in the future in another film, because they brought him back in this movie, so you never know. And then you've got Rintra, then you got the Green Minotaur that we saw at Carmitage, which first appeared in Doctor Strange number 80 in 1986. So he is from the comics. He's an extra dimensional Minotaur. He saved Strange's life and eventually became his apprentice in the comics, and even helped him, during the Infinity War comics. And he currently, right now, teaches young magicians at the Strange Academy in Strange Academy. And then you had Ejo 4. He reprised his role this time as a variant Strange's ally turned enemy. And this version is Mordo. Right, he's Mordo, and he presides over the New York Sanctum Sanctorum, and he's a member of the Illuminati. And so he's back. We had of course Captain Carter. We had Captain Marvel popped in. Black Bolt.
Oh, you know what? We forgot to talk about. No, we didn't mention. What is it? The thing on his neck. That's on the tip of my tongue.
The Eye of Agamotto?
Yeah, the Eye of Agamotto is actually a powerful relic that Doctor Strange wears. What people don't realize is in the movie, it was just used to house the Time Stone because it could do it.
Right.
It didn't make the Time Stone have its powers, but they were able to use it to house it there so that, nobody would get to it. And you also have to be able to practice magic to even open the Eye of Agamotto. But that's why, because a lot of people, my cousin asked me earlier today, he was like, well, why did he still have, if they destroyed the Time Stone, why did he still have the thing on his neck? I was like, well, that's actually a magical relic. And he can shoot, beams and things like that out of it that are very destructive and that are of a magical sense. It is a magical relic that he uses to conjure spells and make himself more powerful. Mm-hmm. They just used it to house the Time Stone. So now that they don't have the Time Stone, they still have the Eye of Agamotto. The Eye of Agamotto is still a weapon that Doctor Strange can use to wield magic and make himself more powerful.
Yeah,
which I thought was
Yeah, and you see the same symbol on the window of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah,
that big circular window. But Ultron was in here. We had Ultron for a minute.
Yes,
Pizza
we did.
Papa.
Yeah.
We had Bruce Campbell popped in. Well, Ultron's robots and shit. And then Charlize Theron came in, and we're gonna chop up that after credit scene in a minute. The Book of Vishanti is the Darkhold's opposit, right? That's the book.
Vishanti. That's Vishanti.
Yeah. That's why I said the book. That's why I said the Book of
Vishanti. I thought you said Ashanti, like the singer. I thought you
said, nah, the Book of Vishanti. I get it because I when I said it sounded like the Book of Vishanti. No, yeah, Book of.
I thought you said Ashanti. Like I was like Ashanti wasn't in the movie, dog. She looked good in the superhero costume, but she wasn't
Murder Inc. Nah, but it's
thinking about
the book that. Yeah, I'm saying, where you at? But nah, the book that America Chavez and Dr. Strange was trying to catch. That's what they were going through the multiverse, running from the. You saw the big ribbon demon made out of ribbons. That's the bands of Sidorak, and the Book of Vishanti is the Darkhold's opposite. It's a book of white magic and a key element of Doctor Strange mythos. Pretty much since the character's origin. It first appeared in Strange Tales. 116 in 1963. And you know, the book
Hey
gives
fellas, I
users
gotta
whatever
get
they
up out
need.
of here.
I know,
So
brother. I know.
I just want to say thank you guys, man. I gotta go pick up my son right now, but
Right.
thank you guys. It's been a pleasure to be on here with you guys, man.
Man, it's been great, man. Thank you so much for coming on and Panda chopping it up with us, man. We dig it, and you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to get back on here with you guys again.
Definitely.
All right, I'll see you guys later, man.
Anytime, man. Peace, Panda. Peace.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. Talk soon. Yeah, they cut a Illuminati member out. There was 7 chairs, but only 6 Illuminati. They cut Black Panther or Iron Man. They did. They cut, and I guess they cut those guys because obviously they didn't want to replace Black Panther so unceremoniously as a side part in this movie. When they do it, if they do it, they want it to be in a Wakanda movie, his own movie. And then, you know, Iron Man. There was a lot of rumors of Tom Cruise playing Superior Iron Man, which I don't know. They're still talking about that may happen in another movie. But you know, yeah, Trouble with Shuri. Yeah, it's
Shuri. Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's a lot going on with that movie right now behind the scenes. But there was a lot going on with Batman, and we still got a good movie. Who knows?
Yeah, we did. There, a lot of cool Easter eggs though in this movie. One of which I was super hyped when I seen it. It's just quick. If you blink, you'll miss it. When they're shooting through the multiverse, if you look here on the far left of your screen, you see those 2 white glowing dots. Those are eyes. And if you notice the face, now you start to see it, and it's got sort of like a hood on him. And so if you don't know, that is the Living Tribunal. And the Living Tribunal is like the being that sort of judges the whole, you know, the whole cosmos, looks over everything in the universe. And it says outside reality as you know it, so that we might converse without being overheard. Once we're from another dimension. Living Tribunal. So you guys may have seen him. He's got 3 faces. One is half covered, one is fully covered, and one is fully exposed, and they sort of, you know, rotate. But yeah, I was super hyped to see him in the movie because he's a big character in the comics that I hope we get more of him. But like I said, if you blinked, you missed it. But you know, he considering what goes down in the Multiverse of Madness, he may, you know, not be doing the best job at what he's supposed to be doing, you know, protecting the multiverse from mystical forces. But he first appeared in Strange Tales, also number 157 in 1967. He was created by Stan Lee and Marie Severin. And his three faces represent equity, necessity, and revenge. And he judges entities and individuals and prevents any one universe from becoming more powerful than another. And hopefully we will see him again in the MCU as the multiverse expands, because I love the cosmic, you know, the cosmic stuff. 3 separate there is 3 separate heads. It's they aren't connected in the movie. Warlock becomes Living Tribunal.
Yeah, he's right about that. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get Living Tribunal in these, you know, space, you know, the cosmic movies like the Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff. Adam Warlock and all of that. Yeah, that's why I really. And then we saw Mount Wundagore, Wanda's throne, where where her throne was, and in the movie has a storied history in the comics, introduced in Thor number 134, 1966. It's the place where the demon Chthon dwelled and wrote the book of black magic known as the Darkhold. And later the mountain served as a home base for the sorceress Morgan Le Fay and her followers, and the Darkholders who sought to harness Chthon's powers. In modern times, it was ruled by the geneticist, the High Evolutionary, and became the birthplace of Wanda and Pietro Maximoff, the former who was imbued with Chthon's energy. That was how Pietro was like Quicksilver. But so that whole area, like it really did have a lot of history with Wanda, especially in the comics. But and then Chthon that I mentioned is the demonic god of chaos, the father of monsters and writer of the Darkhold. And Chthon's history in the Multiverse of Madness appears to be similar to what it is in the comics. The character first appeared as the Other in Marvel Chiller's #1 in 1975 and was created by Marv Wolfman, Bill Mantolo, and Young Montano. And in Marvel lore, he is the source of Wanda's powers and has possessed her in the past, and with an influence similar to what the Darkhold has over Wanda in the film. So like it, makes her, a little bit darker and a little bit, more evil. And more recently in the comics, the Scarlet Witch absorbed Chthon, taking his powers and containing him, and at least for as long as she remains alive. And while we don't see him in the flesh in Multiverse of Madness, the Guardians of Wundagore who serve the Scarlet Witch look similar to one depiction of him. Those big monster dudes that sort of like surrounded Doctor Strange when they were in there, where the throne was. And given that the future MCU projects will focus on Blade and Werewolf by Night, I expect Chthon, who created both vampires and werewolves, to come into play again. And because that's another movie, Stu, that Moon Knight is obviously foreshadowing Werewolf by Night. That was where Moon Knight first appeared in Werewolf by Night number 33, and Blade. So this, I love how the Marvel Universe connects, man. I love how everything sort of ties in together, and you can sort of, foreshadow and guess what's coming next, and especially by watching the shows and stuff, and figure out what they're doing. In WandaVision's Agatha tells Wanda she uses chaos magic, right?
That's true. That's true.
Look really close at the end of the movie. Yeah, it's oh, and the Baxter Foundation. There's another Easter egg we got. Earth 838. Dr. Christine Palmer works at the Baxter Foundation. Remember they dropped that name, and
yeah,
that was dope. Like that was, I'm like, me and my son were like, yo, the Baxter Foundation. Like that was like, in the comics, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm, Fantastic Four, they live in the Baxter building. And while the Baxter Foundation is a think tank for young geniuses introduced in the 2015 Fantastic Four movie, and if that's the only aspect of the Fantastic Four movie that makes its way into the MCU, I'd be grateful. But we got Sue Storm, Franklin, and Valeria Richards. Right before the Scarlet Witch absolutely wrecks Reed Richards, turns him into spaghetti, he tries to empathize with her, sharing that he's a parent too, and trying to like connect to her, parenthood. And Wanda asks if his wife is still alive, and Richards confirms that she is, to which Wanda stone cold replies, "Good, then they'll have someone to raise them." You know what I mean? And Sue Storm is, of course, the wife of Reed Richards he's referring to, and his children are Franklin and Valeria Richards. Franklin Richards is a super underrated character. He was the world's most powerful mutant before an unnecessary comics retcon that, for some reason said he wasn't a mutant. And Valeria is one of the smartest people in the multiverse. She's like the third smartest person in the multiverse. Not the world, not the universe, the multiverse. So the kids are super, like, way more powerful than the parents. And Franklin Richards, like I said, one of the most powerful mutants of all time, maybe the most powerful mutant of all time, super omega level, reality warping on another level. Like in the comics, they show him like create a straight up a galaxy, like a full on galaxy, stars, planets, the whole thing, like in his hands. He just like creates it while he's got his blanket over his head when he's a little kid, like in his bedroom. Like we be in there with a flashlight reading the comic. He's in that motherfucker creating galaxies and shit. Like he's beyond powerful. And another big Easter egg that I don't know if anybody caught was the incursions. The incursions are from Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, which is where the Illuminati is at, or where I first read the Illuminati in that run. So if you guys read comics, or if you are interested in maybe reading comics, I highly recommend Jonathan Hickman's Avengers. So look up the Avengers and look up the writer Jonathan Hickman and read it. The incursions, Reed Richards warns that the incursions happen when two worlds in the multiverse collide, resulting in their mutual destruction. And in the comics, in the mid-credit scene that we'll talk about in a minute, Clea, Charlize Theron, tells Strange he's responsible for an incursion. That's another part where they mentioned it. Something the Earth's 838's Illuminati was afraid their Stephen Strange would cause. Remember, the Illuminati was saying that Stephen Strange is the real threat because he caused the incursions. And how the Earth 616's Strange created an incursion will be explored in the future, but the concept itself, like I said, originated in Jonathan Hickman and Steve Epstein's New Avengers, which served as the lead-in to Secret Wars. And in that series, the Illuminati, which consists of Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, Iron Man, Black Panther, Beast, Black Bolt, Namor, and Captain America, which you'll notice is a different Illuminati from this one. So there are different iterations of the Illuminati with different characters, but they're forced to deal with the looming threat of their Earth's destruction by what's called an incursion. And it's decided the only way to save the world is to destroy the other planet that is going to, crash into them, a tactic that Captain America doesn't agree with, so his teammates manipulate his mind to forget it and not know what's going on, the other Illuminati guys. And it seems the MCU might be moving ever closer to an Earth 616 iteration of the Illuminati and Secret Wars as a model for the next Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame level big event. And man, I hope so, because that's one of my favorite things in comics. Yeah, see, you got incursions. These comics are dope. Secret Wars is coming. That's
I agree.
Yeah, that's what we hope.
That's what we need. We need something like that.
Yeah, man, we definitely do. But I keep mentioning the after credit scene. So let's bust that up. The film featured two post credit scenes. One that they put right in the middle of the credits, like kind of before the after the graphic credits, before the little credit, and then one at the very, very end of the movie that was sort of irrelevant but funny. But the one in the middle was particularly surprising, depicting a continued future for the MCU that stems from the Doctor Strange Chronicles. After America Chavez is saved by Stephen Strange, the Doctor is seen walking through the streets of New York and is suddenly stopped by a mysterious woman in purple. Instantly, I thought, a fucking Eternal. It's the Eternals. Oh, man, this sucks. I was like, but it was not. We see this woman in purple, and she reveals Charlize Theron's MCU debut as Clea, which is a character who's been around since 1964. She engages in conversation with Strange to alert him that the multiverse is about to go through another incursion, also known as when two universes collide and one completely destroys the other. So Clea asks for Strange's help as she creates a portal for both of them to walk through with her blade. And Strange is up for the challenge, as his new forehead eye acquired from his encounter with the Darkhold opens, and both of them make their leap through. But Clea's backstory was first introduced in the first Doctor Strange film as a multidimensional traveler. In the comics, her story involves Dormammu and eventually settles on Earth and becomes Strange's mystic arts apprentice, and both end up getting married. But when Strange dies, she takes over as Sorcerer Supreme. And the reveal of Charlize Theron, Clea suggests that there will be a third installment to the Doctor Strange franchise. However, it is unclear where else Theron will make a cameo in other parts of the MCU, but it is clear that her introduction teases audiences of the next big character in the universe, as well as, a major storyline. And then you have the latter post-credit scene, which confirms the return of a third Doctor Strange film. Towards the end of the credits, we see Pizza Papa, which was a street vendor on Earth 838, whom Strange had cast a spell on to keep punching himself in the face for 3 weeks straight. And Pizza Papa is comically smacking himself until he just stops and he declares, "It's all over," and then winks. The act not only suggests the spell is over, but the ending of the movie. And it remains to be seen how the rest of the franchise will unfold after this film.
Well, we should know it'll bring Dormammu back because Clea is Dormammu's that's Dormammu's niece.
Right.
But she's also the daughter of Umar, so that's Umar's daughter and Dormammu's niece. So we haven't seen the last of Dormammu. We know that, so that would probably give us a reason to see Dormammu again. And even when you saw her cut the hole in the multiverse and they jumped in it, that background looked like the Dormammu background that he was in the first movie. If you get a quick look at it.
Right. Yep. And there's a lot this movie, like I said, man, there's just so much to unpack, to talk about. There's so many different places we could go, so many parts, so many aspects that we could talk about. But there's a lot of I guess the weird stuff. You got socialism is sort of the default for the multiverse. I think Clea and Strange will just help in the incursion wars. Yeah, that's probably where it will go, but we'll see, man, because more than any other kind of movie, I would love to see Hickman's New Avengers movie. Illuminati, 616 Illuminati, incursions, that whole thing. I'm telling you guys, read that comic series. It's the best thing you'll read probably in Marvel for a long time. But yeah, socialism seems to be the theme of the multiverse, because America Chavez, she knows more about the multiverse than anybody because she's constantly going through universes, and she says that food is free in most of the universes. And it's weird that us 616 people have to buy food and pay for it. A believable multiverse factoid, because if most universes have figured out that food should be free, what else is free in those realities? Healthcare, housing. Isn't that socialism? Have the multiversal commons decided on socialism as the systemic default across realities, and where can I get a pizza ball for free? And then you've got Marvel has never been the best when it comes to putting their characters in decent or even mildly believable wigs. You had Natasha Romanoff in Iron Man 2, Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, but the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness went even harder on weird ass headpieces. First, there's ponytailed Doctor Strange, who looks like he clipped on the ponytail in the back half of a My Little Pony figurine. And then there's Michael Stuhlbarg's early 2000s skater wig.
Yeah.
Then you had both 848's Captain Carter and Christine apparently buy their hair at Party City. And whatever Charlize Theron had on her head in the mid-credit scene is a mystery to everyone. But then you had the paint dimension was cool. Remember that paint dimension where they were flashing through all it, and they were paint? And but we saw flashes of a ton of different universes in this movie. And we could just backtrack to the one where everything and everyone is made of paint. And are people just dripping around like sentient paint blobs there? is there a paint equivalent of the Avengers?
Gotta be.
Did they fight a paint Thanos and the Bruce Campbell thing was great. We sort of didn't mention that. Bruce Campbell always making an appearance in Sam Raimi movies. When Sam Raimi did the Spider-Man movies, he was in those. Like, he's always doing the sort of Stan Lee cameo thing anytime Sam Raimi makes a movie. And this one, he's like the butt of a joke in the with the hitting yourself thing. And that's been a thing with him and Raimi for the length of the Evil Dead duo's working relationship. But the joke here, in which Doctor Strange curses some poor schmucky street vendor to 3 weeks of "Why are you punching yourself?" spell, is that's bonkers, man. The hair don't matter to me, Reno. I want to know more about Chavez.
Chavez is dope, man. You got to read the comics. Gotta read the comics.
She's cool.
The only thing I can tell you is that she's able to once she controls her powers, because I guess they're not letting her do it in the movies because she is ultimately very powerful. She creates these stars of energy bolts. They look like stars.
Portals.
And, yeah. Well, she can actually project them as energy. Some can even hurt Captain Marvel. They've even had. Gave Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and she's got super strength, super durability,
fly, all of that. They didn't mention that.
The star things, those are holes in reality, and they're star shaped, which I don't know. The star shaped thing was. I really expected not to like this character for many reasons, but I didn't. I liked her. I liked the character.
Her energy blast too, Reno, are shaped like stars.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she's super fast. She can move superhuman speed.
She can run at the speed of light.
Yeah,
what I read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she can run at the speed of light. So it's just a lot they didn't give us. But maybe in the next one, maybe we might get a Chavez movie. I don't know. If we do, they'll explore all of that. Who is that asked that? Slade. Slade. If we get a Chavez movie, we'll get all of that. Because remember, she was training at the end of the movie. She was training with Doctor Strange, so to control her powers and do different things. And like I said earlier, Doctor Strange didn't have to be the one. He was like, "Look, I can't beat Wanda, but you can," and that's when she got her. Yeah, so it showed you how powerful she could be. But this is a young Chavez, very young.
It's not seasoned yet.
Not seasoned, right?
Control anything yet.
She can move. She can move at will throughout the multiverse.
Yeah,
she can move anywhere she wants at any time.
She can time travel. She pretty much does like anything. I mean, they just basically made her like a god. I mean, she's just pretty much, the super. What Captain America probably should have been.
And speaking of that, at one point she was. In one universe, she is Captain America.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss America. She's known as. But her biography, she believed she was raised by her mothers in the utopian, reality. That is
which is outside
of time and presence, which is known as the demiurge, whose presence she credited with imbuing her with superpowers. In her memory, when Chavez was approximately 6 years old, the utopian parallel was threatened by destruction, and then Chavez's mother sacrificed themselves to seal the black holes, resulting in their particles being smeared across the multiverse. And wanting to prove herself as a hero and knowing utopia didn't require salvation, Chavez ran away from her home and her responsibilities. And she traveled across different realities and adopted the moniker of Miss America and began covertly acting as a superhero. But she's been in a lot of different comics. She was in Teen Brigade, different teams. She tried to stop the Young Masters from recruiting Kid Loki. She broke into the Metropolitan Art Museum, but Loki used the screaming idol to send her to the 6th dimension, where she fought Tibero and was later rescued by the Last Defenders, She-Hulk, and Diamond Hellstrom under the direction of the In-Betweener. She rejoined her teammates in Latveria, where she fought the Barak Nude and Young Masters and Doctor Doom. And the battle was ended when the Ultimate Nullifier shot the In-Betweener. And while the smoke cleared, the Teen Brigade covertly departed. Chavez would later part ways with the Teen Brigade and due to musical differences. But, this is why I thought I wasn't going to like this character, man. Because they just made her, she's like the Superman of Marvel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just infallible. She's super, beyond powerful. She's, there's nothing she can't do. And she's done it all and beat everybody. And she's like the best. And I just don't like characters like that usually.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm going to go pick up and start reading America Chavez comics, but I expected for that part of the movie to be a problem, like an annoying part, but it wasn't, man. I dug it. I didn't really hate anything in this movie. Like, even the stuff that I was a little bit let down by, like the Illuminati and all that, I came to think about and realize that it made sense. And then I could appreciate it. Because I hear a lot of people complaining about certain things and like trashing, the movie for different stuff. And it's like, if you just want to trash something, you can trash it. If you want to nitpick it and find all the problems and plot holes and all that, you could do it. You could do it with any movie. I could trash Infinity War. I could trash any movie I wanted to trash if I really want to trash it. But if you think about it, you can it makes sense about it. I mean, of course, there's shit in movies that don't make sense and plot holes and all that, but it is what it is. Shout out to Stratton Films. He just popped in and said, "Panda chop."
Yeah.
Miss Panda. Yeah,
you missed Panda, but he'll be back. He'll be back. Panda back.
He will be back.
So do we give this movie a Lito's Way thumbs up or Lito's Way thumbs down?
I don't know, Lito's Way. What do you give it? I give it a thumbs up.
I give it a Lito's thumbs up. Lito's Way thumbs up. Yeah.
I give it 4.5 mics.
Yeah, I give it 4.5 Lito's Ways out of 5.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just a good movie.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah, you could find problems with any movie. But out of the shit Marvel's been doing lately, phenomenal.
They knocked it out the park.
They killed it.
What we got next? Thor, Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
I said what? July, I think. I don't know. When is it? December or July?
Good question. We got some scores from the audience. We got Lito's Way gave it 4 out of 5 thumbs, and then he gave Norin Rad gave it 8 out of 10. All Sam Raimi movies have a goofiness to it. Yeah, that's true. They do.
That is true.
Sort of their
July 8th is Thor. Thor will be here in July. So
what's wrong with my mouth?
Yeah, July 8th would be Thor: Love and Thunder. July 8th. Norin Rad gave it an 8 out of 10. He is right about that. They do have a goofiness feel to them, but not this one. This one
didn't have too much of the goofiness that you would see in like the Evil Dead, or even the Spider-Man. Yeah, the Spider-Man. Let's see. 7 out of 10. Okay.
Wow. 7. Okay, we can go with that.
Out of 10, I mean, I don't know, man. I give it an 8 or 9, man. It was that good. Like, it wasn't the best movie. I'm not gonna give it a 10, but like I said, compared to what we've got from Marvel lately, I'm happy to see that they still got it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't lose whatever it was that made the MCU so dope, because after the Eternals and Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi wasn't bad.
Shang-Chi wasn't bad. I can't trash Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi wasn't bad at all.
I thought it was dope. I liked it. I like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I can't say, looking at because I have all the Marvel movies and looking at them all, I can't say it's not one. I would have to say my least favorite one would be Captain Marvel. That would have to be my least favorite Marvel movie. But the rest of them, knock it out the park.
The second Thor movie wasn't great. The Dark World, that was meh.
No, it wasn't too. Yeah, it wasn't too good either. It was watchable. It was doable, but it's nothing to write home about or anything that it doesn't leave. No, I'm gonna rephrase it. It doesn't leave a lasting impression on you, like Love and Thunder. I mean, Jamal Quinn gave it a 9 out of 10. That's a high score, Jamal Quinn. That really is. Yeah, why? Why? We want to know why, Mr. Edwards. You give it a 9 out of 10. Let us know in the comments.
Eternals and Captain Marvel was definitely the worst.
Yeah, Nora Rad, we agree with that. Because Captain Marvel I think it was too much story, and like Reno, you always say, it's too many characters you got to care about, and they just do too much at you at one time, and it's just way too much story that we didn't need.
See, now here's an example. He said the reason I gave it a 7 out of 10 is the poor performance of the Illuminati versus Wanda. These brilliant assembled characters have the worst defense against her, didn't even prepare. And I felt the same way, man, at first. But then I thought about the fact that, okay, wait, this isn't the 616 Illuminati. This Illuminati is here to be a tool, a plot device to show how powerful Wanda Maximoff is. They did not do well fighting her, obviously. Mr. Fantastic was not his normal strategist self by telling her what Black Bolt's power was and how to defeat him, pretty much.
Which we know that's a head nod right there.
That's what tells you.
He would never do that, right? He would have been like, Black Bolt, you wait right here. When I give you the signal, hit her. Right? That's Richards. Yeah, that's Richards.
Her shit. Iron Man 3, it's the one I didn't like.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. Yeah, Iron Man 3 was. You know why? Because they tried to mix extremists with an Iron Man movie, and you should have just did extremists. You should have just did the extremist storyline, and they tried to put their own spin on the extremists. And no, but if you read the extremists, because I read the motion comic or watched the motion comic, it was dope. Yeah, extremists was dope. Yeah, extremists was really dope. So they should have did that.
That's how I knew when I seen Iron Man 3, I was like, oh wait, that's extremist. The body heat and all of that, like the dudes exploding and everything. And then, but yeah, why'd they try to put Mandarin in there, but then didn't? It was just a lot wrong with that movie. There's a lot wrong with Iron Man 3. I don't know why, people liked it the way they did. But
you know what, Reno? Whenever they get to the third movie, they always mess it up, man. P. Richards ain't really a combat dude anyway. That's truly those way.
Yeah, he's not.
Always he's a strategist. He's a tactician. Like Star-Lord. A lot of people don't realize Star-Lord is a tactician. He's a very, 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 very brilliant tactician. That's why in the movie, when he was in the first Avengers movie, when Tony Stark had the plan, he's like, wait a minute, hold up. He was like, I got a plan. He's like, your plan is good, but wait a minute, because that's what Star-Lord does. And then remember when they caught Thanos, he was like, told you my plan would work. And it did, because that's what he does. He's a very brilliant tactician.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic Four fight as a team. Yeah.
Not a solo.
They don't work solo. They don't work solo. Like
they don't.
Powers only work as a team. One by one, by themselves. They're not all that, except for Johnny Storm. But Jamila Quinn. I like America Chavez. Scarlet Witch was brutally awesome. Only thing I didn't like about the movie was that they didn't spend more time in some of the other dimensions. Time constraint, they could only do so much. Yeah, I agree that.
Jamala Quinn was, maybe with these Marvel shorts that we get, maybe we might get a Marvel Disney show exploring some of these other dimensions. I mean, they can do it.
That's what If was about.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But you know how we just got Moon Knight.
That's what Loki was about. That's
right. And Loki. Yeah. Right. Maybe we can get a Marvel multi-cinematic, multi-universe movie about another dimension where we can explore some of these characters and some of these other dimensions and things that go on. Nobody's ever done that before, but it would be dope if they did. Like if we went back to the 813, or we just went to maybe Earth X. We can do Earth X. They could do a 10-episode series about Earth X.
Yeah, now that's another. I mean, look.
Sue Storm is powerful.
Powerful. She could create a force field inside your body and have a
and
bubble
you.
expand and just pop you. I mean, she could do a lot. Yeah, Stu could have killed Wanda Solo, make a force bubble in her brain. Exactly. But they all could have beaten her in some way, but you know, it's not their movie, and this was
Right, because Captain Marvel, right, if you go by the comic book iterations, Wanda Maximoff has no work for Captain Marvel, none whatsoever.
I mean, you know, Doctor Strange, I mean, Professor X, I mean, Black Bolt, like, come on, like, yeah. Now, but the thing is, though,
Professor X is in a mega level mutant. Yeah.
Captain Marvel, power wise, could beat if they were blasting blasts at each other, but what Wanda did and what she did to Black Bolt was the best example of her powers. The shit she was doing, fighting all the wizards on their fortress by shooting them with, like, you know, her blasts of red beam energy or whatever. That's like her weakest thing. She's a reality warper, so she can literally just change reality for them. Like, you know, she could just say, Captain Marvel, you know, you have no powers, and then she just fall to the ground. You know what I mean? Like she did. She said no more mutants, and killed almost every mutant on the planet, or took away their powers, destroyed all the mutants. There was 198 of them left out of all the millions that there were. And you know, that's that House of M, and hopefully. But you're right. You're right, Fresh News. It's totally up to the writers. You know, it's all what story you're in. You know, like
they want to tell you. It's all about the story. They want to tell you, right?
It's whoever's story it is. Like people say all the time, like, who could win, Goku or you know, whoever the fuck. It's like, who's writing it? What universe are they in? In DBZ universe, nobody can beat Goku. But if you take Goku and put him in One Punch Man will just kill him. But it depends on which universe they're in, right? Who's writing it. So the question is stupid because it just matters who's fucking writing it. They're fictional characters. I thought the died out in the 60s.
No, I didn't catch that.
No, I didn't catch that. Hope they stop trying to make everything connected. I think the movies are better if each one looked and done individually. I don't know, Nornrad. I don't know. I love that they're all connected. I love that everything is connected like that, and that's because that's normal.
Nora, you can get your wish. Nora, you can get your wish if Disney just makes a little one-shot film, 10-episode series, and they don't have to connect them. They can just give us these little one-shot stories, man, with our favorite heroes or heroes we don't know much about or want to know more about. They can do it. They did it with Moon Knight's a perfect example of that. They just gave us Moon Knight. But when I watched the interviews, they said they gave us Moon Knight because, like Reno said, they're going to introduce Moon Knight somewhere later on in the MCU, and this just gives us a reason to know why he's there.
Right.
I was surprised at how easy she beat everybody. But anybody could beat anybody depending on, who's writing the story. You're right. You're right. They just got to write it that way. Like I always say, Darkseid is very, very strong. He's a god in the DC universe. Well, why does Superman always get the best of him? Because of the way they write it. Now, you look at him on paper, he's no match for Superman. Superman's no match for Darkseid, period, point blank, in the discussion.
No.
But somehow Superman always comes out on top. Don't understand it.
That's who
can't figure it out.
His show. It's his movie. It's his book. It's
right. It's his book. Right. It's the writers.
In the Darkseid book, he whoops Superman. You know?
Right. Well, because Darkseid can do size manipulation. It's a lot he can do.
But he said Dr. Strange said to Reed, I thought the Fantastic Four died out in the 60s. I don't know why I didn't catch that, but that tells
maybe in the 616. Maybe in the 616.
Yeah, in his universe.
616 in his universe, but not in theirs. Because you got to think. Remember, they said Kevin Feige and them stated that mutants are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We just haven't been introduced to them, and we haven't been paying attention to them. So they are there. We just haven't seen them yet. We've been focused on everything else till they couldn't tell the mutant story yet.
Yeah, and I don't know if they make the movie set in the 60s. I don't know if they would do that or why they would do that.
Remember they already did, because we got the X-Men First Class that was set in the 60s.
No, I'm talking about MCU. And
the MCU,
and they, but like those Fox X-Men movies, First Class and stuff, and like with all this multiverse stuff, it could start out in the 60s, or you know what I mean, like time travel. You got Kang, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of shit, you know, that they could do. And that's the thing. That's the genius move that Marvel made by doing the Multiverse of Madness and the Spider, like all the multiverse stuff and the Loki stuff and the time travel, because it basically gives them license to do anything they want. You can't say, oh, well, that doesn't work because this and that, because multiverse. That's why. Retcon, license to retcon anytime, and you can't argue with it because multiverse. I mean, it's just it's genius. And so yeah, anything's possible. It could definitely, you know, take place in the 60s or have something to do with that. Jamiliquin said that book, he said that book was beautifully illustrated by JLGL, but that story was cap. What up, Fat T? Fat T, what's good, my brother? Man, we've been talking for 2 hours and 20 minutes about the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Well, we did talk to SHADOWPANDA for about 30 minutes about his career. But yeah, the Illuminati murders, man. You know, getting the Illuminati in the Multiverse of Madness is like, you know, wishing for fan service. You know what I'm saying? That you in on a genie's lamp. Like it was everything. Like it was crazy. And you want John Krasinski as Reed Richards? Sure, here you go. But in 10 minutes, he'll be, you know, spaghetti. Oh, you're excited for Black Bolt and Captain Carter? Too bad. One blows his own skull out and the other one gets chopped in half in like 4 seconds. And, you know, as for Maria Rambeau and Professor X, well, you know, squishy and snappy for them. We didn't see this coming, but, you know, it was still, you know, great and mad as hell. Wanda deserved better, you know, a woman in red witch costume floating inside a ring of candles, you know, Wanda, the woman who canonically has not caught a break since she was 9 years old. Consider America Chavez a brave young woman who spends an entire feature-length film convincing the good guys not to kill her for the sake of the wider multiverse. And, you know, compare that to Wanda, who was born into trauma, shaped by trauma, and ended up projecting trauma into an illusory family that she created. You know, she just conjured it up, you know, out of thin air while terrorizing a mind-controlled town, you know, Westview in Jersey. And, you know, she emerged from WandaVision with a deeper, darker purpose that manifests in this film, in a series of inarguably evil acts. And she's only stopped in the end when the same good guys who repeatedly stepped back from the brink of killing a kid used Wanda's fake family to re-traumatize her, you know, prompting her to immediately destroy Wundagore and, you know, the focal point of her evil acts and herself in the process, you know, and in a story and a movie that is already completely off the wall, letting the good guys win by convincing a villain who was shaped by tragedy to kill herself is, you know, several thousand steps beyond the pale. By the way, oops, let me go back. We got Stu is right. Reno, we can a Disney Multiverse 8-episode show. I'm not sure what you meant, but
when I said we could do, like I said, you know how they do the now we did the Loki show, Moon Knight, Falcon, Winter Soldier. Like I was saying with the multiverse, you can do Earth X, 8 episodes.
Oh, right.
You can do, I don't know, you can do multiverse. You can do multiverse 709, 10 episodes. Well, you can explore these characters. Like you can talk about different things that happen that we didn't get to see or that we want to know about. And then you can give us other characters. You can give us different forms of Doctor Strange, Captain America. You can give us America Chavez as Captain America. Get 4 episodes. Boom. Yep. It's like you said earlier, Reno, the possibilities are endless. But having Disney Plus is the catalyst. And with those one shots they gave us, they can actually explore all of that. So we can actually get everything we've all been talking about here for the last 2 hours. So I think it's dope. But like I always say, Reno,
Hollywood ain't that
we can get Strange Academy. Hollywood ain't that smart. It's just not
But
that
yeah,
smart.
Strange Academy would be a great Disney Plus show for sure.
It'd be dope.
Our business. Check out our last Saturday show and Saturday before that show, where we did a Neil Adams and George Perez.
We did Neil Adams and George Perez. Yeah. Our biz, we serious here, man. We serious biz here. Our biz.
Get it in.
We straight up comic. We comic geeks. And this is this show is for everybody. This show is for everybody, but the hardcore comic fan, this is where they come to get it.
And the director, Colonel Sam doing Dr. Strange.
That died. That didn't turn.
You read it?
The directors are the problem. You have the lady that died, that did Eternals. True. Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange. Russo's doing Avengers. Every director wants to do their own thing and the connections. That is so true. Norman Rad, I agree. And one of the biggest and best examples of that is Iron Fist, where the director just came out and flat out 100% said that I'm not putting him in a costume. You're not going to get that. He gave us a happy Halloween and a F you very much. And that was it, bro. He gave it to us raw with no Vaseline on that one. But I will say one thing, Norad, Disney has confirmed that we're gonna get another Daredevil series on Disney Plus. We're gonna get a reboot of Iron Fist. Because Iron Fist is more like Drax, the way he talks. He takes everything literally. He's very knowledgeable, and he does karate, and he can project the Iron Fist through both hands, not just the one. He can do it in both and in his hand and in his feet as well.
Right.
So when you saw the black and white movies where and he had both fists glowing. Well, Danny Rand can do that. He can do all four limbs. So,
because he got that glow.
Yeah, he got the glow in all four. Yeah, all four limbs. Yeah. So whenever they decide to do it, we'll be here to review it on Wednesdays.
Yeah, man, we are due a collab, man. We definitely will do a collab.
Oh, definitely our boots. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's what the comics have Fantastic Four going around mapping the multiverse. That could be a cool show.
That could be a cool show. Yeah.
Like Norman Rad said, like historically growing up, I hated TV shows. I still hate network TV. I'm not a TV show guy. But when The Sopranos came out and HBO started doing high-end scripted shows that were just as good as any movie, that's when I started to be like, man, shows are better than movies, because it's like I can get, if they do 6 seasons, I got like 6 12-hour movies. Like, that's crazy. Like, you're not gonna get, you know what I mean? A film is less than 2 hours or 2.5 tops, if they go crazy, 3.5 hours or something crazy. But yeah, like a show.
It's kind of rushed. If you feel some movies are good, Rita, but they feel kind of rushed. Like after you get to like, damn, I wish they would have did this.
Cram everything in.
But you gotta cram all this in 2 hours. Yeah. But Rita, I did exactly what you said one day. I sat down and I watched Mandalorian, the first season. Because you were like, remember the one day we were talking, you was like, Stu, you ever just sit down and just binge watch that joint back to back? Mm-hmm. And you was like, it's dope. And I said, I was like, let me try it, man. I was sitting one day, I had nothing to watch. I knocked it out. I got through like more than halfway through. And I was like, yo, Reno was right. It is a lot more. It's a lot more. It's just a lot more flamboyant. It was much more enjoyable that way than just knocking it off episode after episode.
Yeah.
When I just ran them all straight through.
Absolutely. It's better than, because when you wait a week. Wait, who are you? I'm sorry, I don't really know who you are.
I got your email. Just got a car out the town when I hit you up. So in the realms of hip hop as well as our business. That's
you. I know who you are. Who are you? Just tell me your other name or your Instagram name or how I know you as. But yeah, like waiting a week between episodes is it's only
bugs.
Yeah, and it's only good for the streaming service because it keeps people paying the bill. Because like where Netflix, for us, it's great, but for them, it's stupid. They put the whole season out at one time. People binge it in like 2 days, and then they cancel their subscription until the next show comes out that they want to see. But that's what people do. People do it all.
Disney want to milk you for everything you got. That's dumb, man. Just keep it. I mean, you go right just to sign back up a month later or 2 months. But it's something you want to watch. Just I pay my Disney Plus for the year. Now I'm done. I'm done with it until November. I don't pay again until every November. They automatically hit me up. I'm done. That's it. You can get it. You can get it for the year, and I'm gonna just keep watching it.
Right.
Pop up time, me and Grab Lover are tight. We spoke on this channel where you had them on. I got your email there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Our goods.
You like waiting between each episode, Norrad? You like waiting a week between? I mean, it gives you something to do for the weeks, but I don't know, man. It's like I wait all week to see a 30-minute show, and then I gotta wait another week to see another 30-minute show. Like with Mandalorian, they were shorter episodes, and I don't know. It was good. I mean, I loved it. It restored my faith in Star Wars, but watching it back to back is just a different experience. It's just different. But it's like watching.
It is different. It is
a great movie. That's what I love about shows.
It is. I can watch them one at a time, like But when I watch them back to back, I'll be like, oh man, I need more. Like I'd rather binge watch it than than watch them one at a time. But
yeah, if I can, I watch them back to back.
Yeah, Slaves. I will have back to back.
The way they end the episodes, it's like it makes you crave to see what comes next. It's like that's how they write it, so that the end is like a cliffhanger, and it's like you want to see what happens next real bad. Like, so you just go, you know what I'm saying? If I watch the whole season in one day, the next week I'm watching the next show. If I wait and think about the season over a whole month, I think about the season. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, it does make it last longer for you. I recommend, watching them as they come out, one a week, and then binge watch it. You'll see shit you didn't see before. You'll make connections you didn't make before. It'll just be a different experience. Maybe not do it right away after you just watch the whole thing, but I like wait a month or two and then watch the whole shit. I mean, to this day,
yeah, that's true.
To this day, I rewatch Sopranos and Game of Thrones every episode, at least once a year.
Dang, that's rough, but it's good at the same time. Sopranos is long, it's like 8 seasons.
Yeah,
something like that. It's like 8 seasons. Sopranos, yeah,
only 6.
6, okay, all right.
Yeah. I like the
outer range.
Yeah. I like when they do put 2. Outer Range is good, and that's dope how they put out 2 episodes. That's dope. But
even when Voltron came, they gave us like matter of fact, Battlestar Galactica. Remember they gave us like a quarter. They gave us quarter seasons at a time, and you could just binge them all, and knock them out.
Right.
I thought that's dope too. Peace though, fellas. I love the show you guys put on. DJ Tiger Tune on your channel. I gotta get back to the lab, but I'll catch up on your weekend shows. Be in touch real soon. Salute our biz.
Salute our business. Man. Peace.
Yeah, man, we appreciate your time, man. We appreciate your time, whether you're watching a live show or you're just watching a restream, man. That goes for everybody, man. Shout out to everybody who watches live or you just restream it on your way home or whatever, man. You listening to it while you cleaning your house or while you're working out or whatever the case may be. We appreciate your time, man. We love it. We do this for y'all, man. We do this for y'all because sometimes you might want to hear somebody chop it up. You can come on here and chop it up with us in the chat. That's what it's for. That's what our platform is for.
Absolutely. Stu, did you see Outer Range?
Not yet. I haven't had a chance, man. I'm trying. Norrad, we gonna chop it up about Outer Range. I really want to see that. I just haven't had the time.
I think they come out on Mondays. I watched it or Sundays. I guess they come out because I watched it. Yeah, I watched it last night. The new episode. I thought that I missed an episode because there was 2 new ones. I didn't realize they were putting them out 2 at a time. It just didn't click like that. But yeah, it's weird, bro. I tell you, it's a weird show.
Reno, I'm behind, because I haven't watched I haven't watched Star Trek Picard, and you know I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Okay. Yeah.
On the episode.
Yeah, Outer Range is on some like Twin Peaks, like weird shit almost. Not, not quite as goofy, but it's definitely on some definitely weird. It's dope. Like in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
It's dope. You got your boy that play Thanos is the star. And
are you hardwired, Reno, or are you using Wi-Fi?
No, I'm hardwired. Why? What happened?
The internet is real wonky, man. You were I don't know, like you're freezing. On my end, you're freezing, and then you're coming back. It's like
it looks good to me.
No, I'm saying on my end, like you're freezing, you're coming back, and then like you'll speak, and then it'll pause, and then it'll all come through at one time. So it'll be like, blah, 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 and then it'll catch up. And I don't know, man.
Is anybody else getting
just
that?
on my end? I don't know what everybody else is. Yeah, I don't know what everybody else is saying, but that's what I'm getting.
Sometimes I get that from you guys. Like I'll see all you guys doing that. I think it's StreamYard. I think it's us seeing it through StreamYard maybe, because like I have two things up. Like I've got YouTube up on one window, and then I've got StreamYard on another one. Us seeing it through StreamYard maybe, because like I have two things up. Like I've got YouTube up on one window, and then it seems to be working all right. But
yeah, like it just did it. It just did it just now.
Did it?
Yeah, like you paused. I heard you talking in the background, but you were frozen.
It did it.
So,
no, because I was playing.
You came back. Oh, okay. You came back from the multiverse.
Yeah, like in the best possible way. It was dope. You got your boy that played Thanos is the star, and are you hardwired, Reno, or are you two new ones? I didn't realize they were putting them out.
Are you can you see me? Reno, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's weird, bro. I tell you, it's a weird show.
Oh, I thought you froze again. I was like, yo, I'm looking up.
No. I'm watching the replay, just to see if it's happening, or if it's just us. It's just us. It's not happening. Like,
oh, it's just us. All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool. Right.
Technical checks, but yeah, man, it's a phenomenal movie, man. Doctor Strange was great. We didn't get a couple characters that we thought we were gonna get, like Nightmare. We really just knew we were gonna get Sleepwalker, because Marvel Legends put out a set of figures that were for this movie, and one of them was Sleepwalker, and the other one was like I think, what's his name, Spectre or something, I don't know. But two characters that should have been in this movie that I don't know what happened, because they made action figures and all of that. But they tricked us, you know what I mean? Like I guess they did that to keep it, so we couldn't like know what was coming and all of that. So they did well. They kept us guessing. Man Thing. Yeah, Despair. Yeah, Despair.
Despair. Yeah. Shout out to Jamal. That was in that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like this guy right here. This is Multiverse of Madness figure. But he wasn't in the movie.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, everybody.
Maybe the third one. Maybe he'll be in this next Doctor Strange.
And it's funny because I'm also in the comic business. I sell comics and stuff, and the sales for comics with this character, his first appearances and all of that, the value, the price of his books went up, and people were, everyone was trying to get the Sleepwalker comics, and he wasn't even in it. So Marvel, you know what I'm saying, they fuck some people up. I know people went out and invested on all the Sleepwalker comics, and he wasn't even in it. So at least we know that we won't be able to always predict everything they do.
Yeah, well, we gotta, it's Marvel's way. They got their, like I said, they got their own way of doing things. It's better than DC right now.
Yeah, DC's, they're so hit or miss. I mean, they killed it with the Batman. Absolutely killed it.
Nope.
But what'd you say?
Nah, you freezing. You froze again. You went back
You're
to the multiverse.
You're frozen to me.
You good now.
But it's just us, bro. It's just StreamYard. They're not seeing that. Superior Iron Man
all right, yeah, because I'm tripping, bro. I'm like, wait a minute. Because you'll be talking, and there's like, and then you'll come back and you'll still be talking.
Yeah,
like, then it'll speed up. Yeah, like it's playing catch up.
StreamYard shit. But yeah, Superior Iron Man. That was another one. A lot of people was scrambling for.
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
Tom Cruise was gonna be in it as Superior Iron Man. You know, they throw out these
movie would have made another $100 million if Tom Cruise was in
it. Yeah.
Thank you, Norrin. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, we'd have had another $100 million, Reno, if Tom Cruise was in the movie.
You know what I mean? But he wouldn't do no movie where he got killed in 5 minutes. No fucking way. Tom? No. He wouldn't do no movie where he wasn't a star.
No, man. I wish they would give me the creative control over a movie or a series. I would only need 4 episodes, but I would get every big name person, put them in it, say what character you want to play, write a dope story, just let it fall where it may. You know what I mean? Just let it fall where it may.
Who did that? I would
get my group of villains. I get my group of heroes.
Yeah.
He did Deadpool.
Who did Deadpool?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise? Nah. Oh, that wasn't him.
Nah, no, that wasn't him. Nah, he didn't do Deadpool.
That was Ryan
Reynolds that did Deadpool.
Yeah.
And he did a good Deadpool too. I give him credit for that. Yeah, he really, he takes Deadpool to another. I can't wait for the next Deadpool.
Yeah, I just got a bunch of Deadpool comics too.
Yeah, the next Deadpool, I can't wait for that, man. I'm patiently waiting for that.
Hell yeah, bro. Pick these up on Free Comic Book Day. Got Deadpool the Gauntlet #1. That's a dope one right there. Look at Deadpool the Duck. Like Howard the Duck. Deadpool the Duck. Slapstick action figure variant. Mercs for Money #1. Got Deadpool Core #1. Where you get Lady Deadpool from. Another Deadpool Core. That's Lady Deadpool. I got the Lady Deadpool action figures. Dope. This is Deadpool The Last Days of Magic #1 with Doctor Strange. Excuse me. And Deadpool versus Gambit. I didn't know that was a thing. That's pretty dope. Deadpool versus Thanos. Deadpool. That's a dope one right there.
Yeah, dope.
There's Deadpool with all the different color joints. They have like little action figures that go to that too. All the different color mini. And you got Deadpool making it rain. Deadpool with saber.
Yeah, Deadpool's on the chain, bro.
There he is fighting Omega Red. I'm gonna have to keep that one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep a couple of these. And yeah, just pick those up on Free Comic Book Day. Didn't you say you said something about the Dark Crystal, didn't you, Stu?
You're gonna have to.
That's a Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah, they got a comic. Dark Crystal has a comic.
Yeah, this is like a Virgin variant of Dark Crystal.
Yeah, that is dope. That is dope.
Age of Resistance.
It's one of my favorite movies, man. Dark Crystal. I'm a huge fan.
It's Skeksis.
Fucking, this is based on the movie, or the Moon Knight show rather is based on Jeff Lemire.
Based on that series. Yeah, it's based on that series.
Jake
hey man, I need those two comics right there, man. You gonna have to mail those to me, brother. I have to work that out. I need those two specific Moon Knight comics.
These are getting slabbed.
Okay, I was gonna say if you plan on getting rid of them,
no.
Send them this one. Yeah, I need those two. I need that number 8 and that 14.
They got
If you can get number 1, that's the first appearance of Mr. Knight.
Yeah, and you can get those for like $15-$20. All the Jeff Lemire comics you can get for between like $10 and $20 on eBay, and you could probably find cheaper ones than that too. But that's like the top dollar. The Illuminati really said we can handle Wanda just to get clapped in 10 minutes. Yeah,
they did. They got super clapped. Like,
yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we pretty much broke it down. I think we did well. We talked about we chopped it all up. Talked about the after credit scenes. We talked about Shuma Gorath. We talked about all the Easter eggs. I mean, all the multiverse shit. I think we touched on everything.
Yeah, we
what
did.
Do you think, Stu? We did good?
Yeah, we did. We covered it all, bro. We did good, man. You did an excellent job, Mr. Reno.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I mean?
Here's some pictures. You got Mordo. You got Defender Strange, Living Tribunal, Krusty Strange, Nightmare Who Never Came, Third Eye Blind, Illuminati, The Yellow Chair, Wanda looking like Carrie from Carrie. What? Bing, bing, bing. We got these guys. Some Black Bolt action. Yeah, Multiverse Chavez. What about Keanu Reeves playing Ghost Rider?
It's better than Nicolas Cage. I'll take anything. Listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I'll take anything as Ghost Rider that's way better than that shit we got. I don't care who play Ghost Rider as long as it's better than what we got. I'll take it.
See you guys on Wednesday, man. We'll see you guys on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then again on Saturday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We will be back.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Peace, everybody. Check us out. Oh, yeah, please leave a comment. Please like, please subscribe. If you've never seen this show before, tell your friends, share it. But if you're in this chat right now, you're listening to me, please leave a comment in the comments section, not in the chat, but when you leave out, go in the comments and leave a comment. Comments really help us. If you're watching this video after the fact, leave a comment. Please leave a comment. Don't have to say nothing special. You could just be like, peace, anything. But we really appreciate it. Yeah. And that's our show, y'all. Peace.